Now it's time to put some new metal back in this thing.
I don't know if we ever worked on the MG here before. Whose car is this?
Some guy named John Cena.
There's a whole community that lives and breathes these cars. And there's going to be all eyes on this when we're done. The all-tube custom buggy is a huge job. Is it going to make some power?
1,500 horsepower and about 2,000 foot-pounds of torque.
It's going to be a rocket.
Definitely going to bring my helmet.
You're definitely going to need your helmet.
I know, riding with you.
Man, it's cool when it always comes together.
That can't be mine.
Whoa, look at there.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
You know, ever since Extensive started, trying to get jobs in the door, somebody had a crazy idea. Cool, bring it on. I'll figure it out. I didn't tell them I would figure it out. Man, no problem at all. But, getting into the job, you have that little anxiety of, man, I'm not real sure what to do. But, I know I can figure it out. No matter how big the job is, how small the job is, we get in and we get it figured out every time. Here, cut my truck in half and make it a little longer. No problem at all. We'll figure it out. Here we are, 23 years later. We're still saying yes to all the jobs, no matter how big, how small. That's exactly why I get at the shop every morning early. Morning. Getting the guys going, getting parts coming, trying to coordinate is super tough. So getting to work early is absolutely what it takes to keep building the business, to keep getting cars in and out. That's the name of the game.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if we ever worked on the MG here before, but
what's your first?
I'm always up for it. The MGC was only produced 1967 to 1969. There wasn't that many of them even made, let alone still around to customize. Extensive isn't real big into the British motoring scene, but, I guess somebody wants to customize this. I'm in. Whose car is this?
Some guy named John Cena.
Surely not the John Cena, right? I mean, look at this car. That's a big old dude to have a little car, so it can't be. Can't be. It'd suck to have the same name as a famous guy, right?
I mean, until you go get a dinner reservation.
Well, I guess you get a pretty good table, huh?
Yeah, until you show up.
Right? So you don't have any idea what we're doing, anything?
Nope. I'm going to text you this information. You can take care of it.
Yeah, text me all that, man. I'll get in touch with them, see what we're doing to it. I could look around this car all day and, just have a bunch of ideas. But until I actually talk to the owner, John Cena, once I talk to him, get a game plan nailed down, we'll kind of go from there. It's just point, we don't even have an empty bay for this build. So before we even think about getting going, we got to finish up old Blue Thunder, the 46 Ford Coupe. How's everything with the coupe out there? That's a big, big, big project, right? Big. Yeah. A long, drawn-out process. Getting the body to where it's at now just has taken months and months.
Oh, yeah, that thing was beat up.
It was definitely beat up. After decades of collecting dust in the garage, my Northside neighbor Ryan wants to surprise his dad by having us customize his 46 Ford to make it one of one. We made good headway. The body work's mainly all done on the outside of the car, which is really, really saying something. That's a lot of work on that whole car. Ton. The floor's in. We got a long way to go still. We got to build the running boards, firewall. We need to finish the front suspension. That way we can get the frame off to powder coat. We can get the body on a cart, and they can start doing the final body work and pick a color and make old Blue Thunder come back to life.
The color's gonna be blue.
I mean, it's still Blue Thunder. Right. If it was named back in the 80s and...
But his name.
Yeah. You know, it's our first time working on a 46, but it ain't our first time building a cool car, that's for sure. Or the last. Damn, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully my sons do that for me one day. Who knows? These days, it's getting a lot harder just to find the parts. A lot of the times, it's just easier, sometimes faster, just to make them ourselves. So John's going to make those new running boards.
The car from the factory came with running boards, and because we don't have none, it needs something there between the front and rear fender. It looks like something's missing. So I'm gonna go ahead and create some from scratch, make this car look right. We have nothing to work with, so I'm figuring it out as I go. Started with the sheet metal, it's gonna bolt up under the cab, and then I'll get my outside contour once this is all bolted up under there. There's really no science to this. I'm just giving this bar a slight curve. I don't want it to be overbent where it looks like a big bubble coming out of the side of the car. And I don't want it too straight where it looks flat. We got to get it the same curve almost to what the body has to it, so it looks like it fits that car perfectly. That looks good. Now all I got to do is cut the ends off to match the contour of the fender. Damn, son. Now with the tubing laying on top of the panel, I marked me a line with the edge. What I'm gonna do is trim that panel off, and that bar will go underneath it. I got the top panel all clamped down to the sidebar. I'm gonna tack it all in place, flip it over, add some cross sections in there. So when this gets bolted up to the cap, the bolt's gonna go through these and the sheet metal to make everything stronger. All right, I got everything in place, tacked in. Now I'm gonna get this under there and that should fit in there nice and snug. Just right. Got a little bit more welding to do. We'll be good to go.
You know, there was nothing, absolutely nothing inside the coupe before we started. So John and his team are getting it done, some really badass custom door panels.
That's a big panel. I didn't think it was this big, so I tried to get it out of the car. I got everything mudded up in place, so all we got to do now is just sit here and sand and sand and sand.
A lot of sanding.
Hey, at least we won't sand alone.
No, we got each other's.
Yes.
Gonna share the pain.
This next thing we'll do is just take some 36 grit, knock down all the high spots and everything. That way when we go to run our tools across it, don't have to worry about our spreaders getting snagged up or anything.
Go work on the other panel while you get your shape in.
Okay. With the size and the quality of the builds we're doing, wow. And she brings a different set of skills I really thought we could use.
I actually started my professional model making career working as a subcontractor for NASA. So I was doing little plastic scale models and doing full-size module mock-ups to train astronauts. I have had a still model of mine in space.
Put a little cheese on it, and we mix. So as you can see, we've got everything molded together from the rear quarter all the way to the door panel. Everything's got good curves, lines, everything's molded out real nicely. We've got our details in it that we were after. So all this is done. All we have left to do now is get it wrapped up and get it in the car.
You know, the body was in bad shape, a lot of it way beyond repair. So Jamie and John are fabricating some of the last metal work.
Okay, so you can see that firewall's got way too many holes. It's old, it's nasty. Now it's time to put some new metal back in this thing. Okay, so I got pretty clean cuts on the old firewall. So I'm gonna use this as a template now. Pretty happy with that. Make quick work. Think you can feed roll these panels for me real quick?
I got you. I'm gonna get this transferred over to some sheet metal. Get feed rolled, get this firewall placed back in the coupe. I'm gonna go in here and lay out some designs, kind of mimic the front end of this coupe, how the grill slats are horizontally. Then I'm gonna do that same concept here on the firewall. So what I'm doing is I'm staggering the edge of what I'm gonna bead roll, so the top one's gonna be narrower, the next one down is gonna be a little wider. So they're not just all ending up and down in the same straight line. So they're gonna kind of grow as they go down, just like the way the grill does on the front of the car. All right, man, I think it'll look good. Go ahead and bead roll this. Slow and steady and keeping your eyes on the line. That's the winning ticket. Cool thing about the custom cardboard is all this cool stuff we make here is done by hand, by eyesight, by the feel and touch. It's not a big old giant machine that's stamping out a piece of metal. This is tailored to that specific vehicle. That's custom, and that's what I love to do. Using the flat edge of this hammer, and I'm making all the corners pointy because you cannot get perfectly sharp corner with a round bead roll wheel. Now we got this all done, trimmed out. We're gonna take this handmade piece over to the coop, get it tacked in place, and we'll have us a fresh custom firewall.
Northsider Ryan wants to surprise his dad with a custom 46 Ford with a one-of-a-kind design to match its classic look. And that's exactly the balance John's trying to hit with that center console.
Got a pretty cool idea for a design for the center console for the 46 Ford. I'm going to kind of try to mimic the hood a little bit at the front of the console. So we're going to do a little stack fab. I'm going to first start with making my template. So what I'll do is I fold it in half. That way I can get a mirror image to the other side. That transfers the arch that I made on one side to the other so that both sides will be symmetrical. So now everything's drawn out. All I have to do is finish cutting it out and we got our template. Now that we got our template made, we're ready to rock. So now we'll just take this, transfer this into some MDF, start stacking where it needs to be, and get it in the car. Just like that. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to do a layout here so that I can rough cut all my pieces. Grab my jigsaw, cut them out. Sit over to the router, stack them up, spread a little cheese. Okie dokie. Hey, Jen. You got some pieces?
I got some triangles. So these are coming from the transmission tunnel.
Yeah, just to give us our simulated angle that we're after here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna take this piece of signboard and use that as a barrier between the two. So once it's all in place, we're gonna pack the inside edges with fiberglass. All right, everything's glassed up. Once it's dry, we can actually start carving on this. Once we get it all shaped out, then we can go back to the car and get it molded into the floor.
Part of never saying no is not saying no to my own crazy idea. And the latest is the all-tube custom buggy that we're going to build from scratch. All we have now is 58-inch tires and military-grade axles. But we're also going to need a lot of power. What's up, fellas?
What's happening, man?
How you doing, man? Man, what do you got, man? I thought you were bringing me an engine.
Well, we did.
See, engine parts.
Exactly. We're put together here, man.
Cool. Is it going to make some power?
1,500 horsepower and about 2,000 foot-pounds of torque, a little over that. This thing's going to make some power.
That's what I want, because I'm building this, full tube chassis buggy, and I want something that it will get it.
So you're going to put a 1,500 horsepower Cummins in a tube chassis. How much is this thing going to weigh?
Probably 2,500 pounds, maybe.
So 2,500 pounds, 1,500 horsepower, 2,200 foot-pounds of torque. It's going to be a rocket.
That's exactly what I want.
You're going to let me drive it, right?
There's so many things you have to do when you take an engine that runs 3,000 RPMs and take it to 6,000 RPMs to make it stay together. The factory valve spring doesn't have high RPMs. With the bigger cam that we're going to run in here, we got these right here. They have a lot more travel there. We can push it in farther, doesn't break the spring, or we can spin this thing to the moon, have an awesome time with it, make a lot of power.
So what we have here is the factory freeze plug. With all the power we're going to be pushing to it, it'll just blow these right out. It'll send them through the moon. These we thread into the head, so it actually screws in, so we can spin as much RPM, as much power we want to it.
Just get these last few done, and then we're going to start assembling the engine.
Yes, sir.
So in order to handle all the RPMs and the load, we're going to have to add these billet tappets in there. These tappets are, twice as strong as the factory cast tappet. With these in there and the billet cam, we'll be able to spin this thing as high as we want with no issues.
Got it? So the crank we're using right here is a factory 6-7 crank that has been polished and balanced. It spins really good. We're fixing to install the lower main cap bearings and main caps, torque it down, check everything, and then we'll start putting the front cover on and installing the cam.
All right, we got a custom spec cam here for our 6.8 liter Cummins.
So what you see here, the tappets we put in earlier, they ride on this right here and they go up and they go down. So with this cam here, it actually has a lot more lift on these, so you get more air in and out. That lowers cylinder pressures and able to spin more without a restriction in the cylinder. Now that we got our cam in, we're going to put our billet retainer on. What this does is, we have all these gears moving around in here. These things like to walk off the camshaft. So what this does, goes on here, has a bolt in there, and that keeps the cam gear from walking off the cam.
Such a little simple fix can keep you from
save you thousands of dollars, man. Like a lot of money. Dad's got the ring size to each cylinder. Dad's going to push this in the cylinder here with this ring compressor, and Clay's going to put the rod caps on. We're going to do that 6 times.
Now that we got the rotating assembly in, I always like to turn them over with a pry bar to make sure that we don't have anything binding up. Everything spins freely. This one does spin like butter.
I got it.
We ought to be able to turn 6,000 RPMs out of this, no problem.
Easy, easy, easy. Beautiful.
The Wells family did a great job building a lot of horsepower in the engine, about 1,500 horsepower. Man, I think we're gonna put all this power in the back. All the monster trucks have that stuff for the weight distribution. They jump super good with all that weight, a little more equalized.
Okay, stay right there a minute. Get that stand right there.
Oh man, that's 1,500 horsepower, man. That's gonna be a lot for this buggy.
It's crazy. We've never had a diesel with any kind of power like that ever.
So torquey too, man.
I'm gonna get some calls of somebody wanting me to pull them out of the mud.
Man, if you don't get any calls, you didn't do it right.
We'll build stands for the engine, and then we'll figure out the wheelbase, and we'll be ready to start building. The all-tube custom buggy is a huge job, because all we got at this point is just a few parts. Everything else we need to make.
This thing has a ton of challenges, a ton of styling challenges.
What do you call it? The pre-motor mount?
This thing is heavy. It's a diesel. You got your transmission and a transfer case in this thing. There's a lot of weight right here, so I want to make sure it's supported good.
And just making everything go together challenges. The next step on this is finding the wheelbase. There's no specific way to do that. There's no calculation, okay, for this buggy, you need this wheelbase. There's no such thing.
Let's get the jack stand a little bit forward. Yeah.
So you just kind of go by the feel. You got to picture in your mind how the suspension is going to look before it's even there. The front axle is in a pretty good spot. The back seat, there's plenty of room there. And we got to take in consideration that the rear wheels are going to steer. Yeah. So we got to definitely make seat room for sure before you start making anything. You got to kind of visualize, okay, the 4-link bars are going to go here, steering shafts here, columns here, the gearbox needs to be over here.
That's almost where the steering wheel's at.
Yeah. And kind of reference influence all those years of building other cars, other trucks, and just kind of play it by ear. And we'll see what's about to happen.
I'm getting nervous, man. I'm definitely gonna bring my helmet.
We're trying to get the last of the front suspension done on the 46 Ford so we can get it off to powder coat. You know, we got our first side of the suspension all mocked up, which, you know, has its difficulties. You know, you're working around the alternator, you're working around the header, you're trying to get the pivot points all 100% so the camber's all right, you got plenty of alignment. You know, that's the difficult part of all the suspension work that we do around here. Once everything's figured out on one side, the difficulty is making everything a mirror image of what's on the driver's side. You know, this is one of the most crucial parts of the whole suspension building process. It's pretty close. Level. It's true. Getting that part all lined up 100% true is huge for the suspension building process. So next step is just taking a ton more measurements. And then we can do the bag mount, shock mount. That's a wrap. Did a great job on the 46 Ford. So we're ready to move it over to paint. And of course, Blue Thunder, it has to be blue. We got a ton of colors to pick from. There's a lot of blues. You know, there's a lot of pressure on me to pick the right color, not just to make the customer happy, but I want to pick the right color in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now. That color still looks good on that car. You paint it a dark blue, it's going to date it. It's going to look like it was built back in the 80s, 90s, when everything was dark blue. The way the body is shaped, you know, I think a lighter color with the metallic is really going to set off the lines and the curves of the car. You know, I'm thinking something like this is really going to go good on the body style of that car.
So definitely it's going to be a cool color. We already put two of these bottles in there, and we still got to put more. I never seen a color take that much pro in it. The pro is going to give that flop, you know, when the sun hits it. Well, I started painting cars when I was like 12. Then when I was in high school, I used to paint my friends' cars. I didn't know what I was doing, but then I went to school for it, learned how to do it the right way, and it went on from there. The car has a lot of curves, so it's really going to make this Pro stand out a lot. Painting the car, giving that cool color is what gives the car that life, gives the attitude to the car. Right, Blue Thunder is back.
We finished the frame on the 46 Ford and sent it off to powder coat. It came back in a white base, and Juan and the team color matched it blue. Now we can get that late model Coyote engine on the frame. You know, it's been a long time coming. I'm really excited. It's been a lot of work for everybody on the whole team to get to this point right here. And I can't wait to give this to Brian. He's going to be just blown away. Seeing a big build like this come together, you know, as usual, my guys are just putting it all on the line. Because if we take a job like this in, we're going to get it done, and we're going to get it done right. That's just what this business is built upon, is not saying no, taking in those jobs that nobody else wants to do because they're too big or too complicated. Cena.
I mean, are you sure? Because really no one can see me.
You know, John, when your car came in, I was talking with the record driver, and he said it was John Cena's, and I was like, man, you know, I assumed such a small car was, you know, for a smaller John Cena somewhere else in the world, not the John Cena.
It's me, man, and I pride myself on the unexpected and the unpredictable, and there's a lot about me that people don't know from just what they've seen, and this is certainly an example.
You know, we never had an MG in the shop before, so I'm kind of interested in what do you want to do to this thing?
I love the old British cars because they're small. I love the look of like the gauge gauges on the dash and just the old racy type of feel that the cars have. And I bought it because it was kind of rare, but the only thing that was rare about it is the V6, and the V6 is kind of a dog anyway. So you guys not only do rare, you do like one of one.
That's it. So
I wanted to take a car that's relatively affordable and do something absolutely crazy with it.
No pressure there, right?
Yeah. You guys kill it on stance, and you guys kill it on body and paint, but I want to put some power in this thing too. So I want to lower it. I want to make it a wide body, like a GT3.
Race inspired for that car, and I definitely dig that.
I want to keep that British feel on the interior, but I also want to make it racy. I've fallen in love with like the Gulf paint jobs, so I was even thinking like a French racing blue with orange and black pinstriping. And also, it's currently a 4-seat, and you know that if we do all these mods, nobody's going to ride in the back. So do whatever you want with the rear hatch. It is like a hatchback, so you guys can have some fun with the extra real estate in there and do whatever you want. I've been obsessing over this car only because I know what you guys are capable of. I have very, very high hopes, and I know it's going to take a lot of man hours because it's going to be a lot of fab, and I don't know what's underneath.
I don't get surprised anymore once we start tearing cars apart. There's always hidden parts and pieces all throughout.
I have no doubt, and there's also another reason why I say you personally at MG. I know you do a lot of one-offs, but this car is going to be under a microscope. Enthusiasts are going to look at this car, and this will absolutely be something that the shop can hang its hat on. So I really kind of wanted to put you guys to the test.
Not only is this built for the John Cena, but the MG community, the MG world is going to take notice of this. You know, the stakes definitely couldn't be higher, but I'm ready for it. My team's ready for it. You're going to get in this car, put your butt in the seat, and go through the gears.
Parking something that should be driven. When it's parked, I will look at it as a piece of art, but I also want to be able to get in, drive, have fun, put some miles on the odometer for sure.
Man, that's what I like to hear.
The car is an automatic. I would love it to be a 3-pedal car because there's nothing like driving with a manual, especially like an old British car.
Right.
And also, if you can pull off the GT3 sort of wide body design, I would love to do something funky with the doors. Either like McLaren style or Gullwing style or even Aston Martin style where they kind of go out.
Hold up, you just want to get in that car easier.
Maybe. Maybe I do. And maybe like a hydraulic jack to set me down inside it. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm really excited about this. Of course, I always say that, but you know, I haven't worked on an MG before, and I can't wait to get the creative juices flowing.
This is not by accident. I really admire your work, and man, the look on people's faces when they see the projects that are done. I'm really hoping that I can share that look with you in person when the car is all done.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you very much, and I'm excited. We're going to make you something really, really cool.
I cannot wait. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you guys do the car.
John Cena.
That was John Cena.
You know, when it comes to customizing anything, you know, trucks are my deal. You know, American cars are my deal. You know, when it comes to an MG, we never had one in the shop. I've never put my hands on one, and making an extensive style fit an MG is going to be challenging, but I'm definitely up for that challenge. You know, there's a whole community that just lives and breathes these cars. So there's going to be all eyes on this car when we're done. I mean, that's a whole nother level of exposure, and people are just going to be going through it with the fine-tooth comb just to see what we did and what we modified. Once I pull this thing in the shop, you know, the guys are once again going to think I'm crazy, you know, bringing an MG into the shop. And, you know, once they know this is John Cena's car and what all we're doing to it, they're going to be just as excited as I am.
Jimmy. It's probably the first time I've ever lifted the hood on it. Why is it in the shop?
Because when you get a call from the John Cena saying he wants extensive to build him an MG, it shows up at the shop.
That's nuts.
Isn't that pretty cool?
It's real cool. I just think he'd fit in this thing.
Right? He wants to drive this car, like take it on the track, drive the hell out of it.
I would have never pictured one of these for like a road course car, but how small it is, you put enough power, it might be a lot of fun on a track.
That was going to be fun. The 69 MGC was known for its straight six, but we're going to give it a lot more power. You know, I don't know what kind of power we're going to put under the hood yet. We're going to rip all that out and just start fresh. New engine, new trans, nice suspension under it, coilovers, front and rear, big brakes in the fender well, good size tire, new paint, of course, new everything. You know, as far as the interior, just totally reimagine what's in there. You know, some nice seats and just reconfiguring gauges, just make it look really, really cool. Just something that he can get in and go, damn, this is badass, and want to drive this everywhere he goes.
Man, that's a privilege. He could choose anybody to do it, and he chose the shop on Sunny Drive.
Right. See, that's why we get him to come to work every day, right?
You never know who or what's going to walk through that door.
So we got to order a lot of parts. You know, as pumped up as we are to get John Cena's car on the lift, you know, it's pretty much a game of bays around here. We got to get the 46 Ford out of the bay to make some room for it. I love seeing the rolling chassis come together. You know, it's all the work that nobody really gets to see, but in this stage.
So the car may look like a 46 Ford, but underneath, under the hood, it's a brand new car. So what we did is we put a Coyote in this thing, but with that comes a lot of technology, computers, wires, sensors. So now we have to put a whole new harness in this car, hide wires. It's a lot of work, but you'll be able to take this car anywhere you want to go.
I asked for a helper today. All this guy wants to do is take naps on me. So we're running this aluminum line from the air manifold all the way to the airbag. We use aluminum because it'll virtually last forever and it looks a lot better than your typical plastic or copper. We got a lot of bending to do and a lot of clearances to make sure we make. We do not want this interfering with anything else on this chassis, and we want it to flow with the frame rail as well. Whenever you make a mark, there's a certain spot you need on that line. Don't come with no instruction manual, so it's all about figuring it out. And if you don't do it right, your lines ain't gonna look right. When your lines don't look right, it makes this beautiful chassis look like crap.
A build like this takes way more than a typical 9-to-5 day to finish. It's months of early mornings and lots of late nights. You know, that's especially true as we get to the end.
Ryan and his dad need their car back, and we want to see his chassis complete. So we're going to bolt the wheels on, we're going to roll it over there.
Or you want to get it right here? With one fork.
You know, this is a huge milestone for us. This started out as some rectangle tubing and some pipe. Now it's a full chassis fixed underneath the car.
Yeah, go for it.
Firewall good? Right now it is. Man, it's cool when it always comes together. Get a little bit of bling on it, make everything come out, man. I think he's going to be real happy. What do you think?
Hats off to the paint and body guys, man. I know they put a lot of work into this thing.
Everybody's worked all night, couple nights, trying to get this thing ready. So we got a long day tomorrow, so let's go home and get some sleep.
Yeah, recharge the batteries.
My guys at the shop killed it once, twice, 100 more times. It's unbelievable. Headlights, chrome bumper. John had a lot of work to do in this interior, and obviously he came with it.
So one of the last things I have left to wrap is going to be the center console. So I'm going to have to sew a seam into it so I can wrap it as one piece.
Real men sew.
Yes, they do.
You know, it's been a long road. Ryan's a great, great guy, taking care of his dad like this, just giving him something special. Brian has no idea what's about to happen. He's going to be really, really happy in about 5 minutes.
Hi, Cleve.
From the time I was 5, 6 years old, my mother, she wanted to be the neighborhood mom. Everybody came to our house, and she treated all my friends as mom.
What about sweets?
All right.
So when I started here, she quickly became Mama D, the shop mom.
Hey, Mama D. Hi. Would you like a donut?
I would. Thank you. If we're working late, she would come by and just like bring us drinks or bring us something to eat or whatever, and just being a mom.
Hi, sweetheart.
So everybody around here, when she walks in, they're like, Mama D, Mom, Mom, Mom.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. Love you. Have a great weekend.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
We want some donuts?
Having working here at Extensive, I feel like I have numerous kids now.
Not our heroes, we're capes.
They're just awesome people.
You're welcome.
It's great.
You know, today is Surprise Day. So we're at RPM's new location, and they happen to be celebrating 40 years in business today. So I brought the crew out to get Brian back old Blue Thunder. Man, I love the new property, man. You got way more space here, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I got a little surprise for Brian. We stashed Blue Thunder in the back of his lot, so I'm going to ask him to kind of show me around, and we just might happen to stumble across his car. So I thought I had a lot of projects. They go on and on and on and on.
Holy looky there. Here's your 46. That can't be mine.
Hey. Hey, 40 years in business. Your son here stole your car from you, basically. Told you a fib that it was at another body shop, and we've been working on it.
I knew I should have come down. Congratulations, you deserve it. I didn't even think to park it out there. I would have never in my imagination ever thought that was mine.
What do you think, Brian?
Beautiful. Damn.
It doesn't look like the same car, does it?
Not at all.
You got a hell of a son.
Yeah, I do. And he's got some great friends.
You know, when Brian came around the corner and seen his car, you know, he got a little choked up. He was just overwhelmed, which I would be myself. Getting a gift like that, that's truly extraordinary. I mean, this is a good day for Brian, and something just never expected. Brian, you know what we started with? I mean, it was pretty much a whole, you know, it was a ton of work to go from where it was to where it is now, obviously. So what we did, we got your car in, totally took it apart, blasted it, and uncovered a lot of work. But as you can see, we've handmade everything. I mean, every bit of the frame itself is all handmade. Of course, we had to do air suspension on it to get it all the way on the ground like this with big billet wheels. You see the bodywork on this. I mean, the fenders all been molded together. The grills molded to the fenders, handmade running boards, welded the fenders to the body, and it's all just streamlined, super smooth. And of course we had to top that off because the car was Blue Thunder, right? So Thunder, right?
I agree. When I saw the color, I thought it was really great. Of course, when I was trying to pick out colors for it, it was going to be a lot darker, but man, that is perfect.
Let's check out under the hood.
Okay. Come on. Holy Toledo! Look at that! Look at there! Oh man!
Late model 5.0 Coyote.
Wow!
6-speed transmission. You know, you don't need any more power than this.
No, I don't.
Right? Woo. All new firewall, all the way to the floor, all the way to the rear roll pan.
This is totally awesome. When you lifted up that hood and I saw that motor, I was just dumbfounded. It was amazing. Because I had this motor at home I've been trying to put together to go in that car. Nothing compared to what I got in that car. Unbelievable.
We got a few other things to show you. Check this out.
Oh, man. Look at this. That is really cool.
What do you think, Brian's a little different from sheet metal in it, right?
Unbelievable.
It's a little bit more comfortable ride than what you know, before, right?
Yeah.
You know, John in the interior shop just, they definitely showed their skills on this, right? Everything is, you know, hand sculpted and molded to the car. You know, the 4 bucket seats in it, you know, the console, new dash, new column, new everything.
A whole lot more than I ever anticipated. Never even thought about it being like this at all.
Ryan said, build his dad something cool. So
it's cool. No doubt about that.
Hey, Brian, we got one more surprise for you. Just to top all this off, I think you're really going to be impressed a little more.
A little more. Let's go. Whoa, look at there. Oh, look at that. Wow.
You know, it looks like you'd want to pull your suitcase out here, right? You know, John made you a matching suitcase to tie in all the interior, right? But it's a sub box, so the speaker is actually in that box that looks like luggage. So that's pretty cool,
That's crazy, yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, I've never seen
Awesome
a speaker
idea.
box look like that.
Where'd that idea even come from?
Right.
You see the luggage in the old 40s era and stuff and the older stuff, but to pull that out your mind and do that,
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. What everybody did for me and what my son had done the car and what Bill did to it is just amazing, and I just can't believe that really happened. I thank you, son, and I love you.
Love you.
Good job, man.
No, you good job.
Thanks.
You know, I always say, I can't do this myself. You know, this is one more example of just my team getting down, doing what they do, building cool stuff like they do. They proved it this time. Brian, giving him something really, really cool. That just goes to show you that Brian's a good dude doing good things in the community and for his family. We're going to probably tack a piece of tubing here and there. Okay. Jamie and I are mocking up the first metal work, which would be an all-terrain, all-metal, all-tube custom buggy. The overall feel of the whole project is going to start taking shape once we get these clamped in. You can kind of step back and kind of see how everything looks, you know.
All right, where's my helmet?
Was it comfy?
Helmet room? Hell no.
Hey, this ain't made to be comfortable. This project is such a reminder of how extensive was started. Starting with nothing and building piece by piece by piece by piece by piece by piece, and here we are. I never would have dreamed I'd be where I'm at right now. Never. It was never a dream come true because I never dreamed that. I just feel totally blessed to be in the position I am to keep building the business. You know, we got celebrities driving down Sunny Drive to see what's going on at Extensive. It's basically a 4-seater monster truck. Monster buggy.
Monster.
Just really make you start thinking where everything started to where it's. I want to see you actually sit in the car, see how much room we got to work with.
Once you get in, it's kind of okay.
This should change the whole look of that car.
We're going to be putting LS in this thing. Is this possible? I'm not sure yet.
2020 Denali 2500. This big truck isn't big enough. I have free reign to do whatever we want to do.
Whatever you want.
And it's going to be a surprise to this guy's wife.
I'll let my wife hear this.
Man, that's awesome.
That is so cool.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Man, you're just wishing one day you can get to that point where you can build the way you want to build because the owners trust you to make it perfect. We're reaching that point now as a business. You know, that comes with a whole lot of pressure to get it right. Case in point, John Cena's 69 MGC. Here's a massive celebrity giving me free reign to make it cool.
Hello.
Pleasure to meet you, man. Finally in person.
Very, very nice to meet
It's so
you.
good to be here. I can't tell you how happy I am and excited I am. This is
Man,
awesome.
I'm really excited for you to come in too. I mean,
So
I know Val is.
Pleasure to meet you, Bill. I'm John.
Likewise.
John shipped his MG to us, but we never met in person. This would be the first MG I've ever worked on. One of the things that stood out right away is its size. After looking at the car, seeing how small this MG is, and just seeing John Cena, he just looks humongous. MG, it's a small car.
It is.
I'm really concerned about you being uncomfortable in this.
Is this the large guy, small car?
There's a little something to
Okay,
do
you danced around that pretty good, but yeah, all right. Well, let's address the elephant in the room. Literally, I'm not fit for an MG. So how do we do that?
to see how you fit, to see how much room we got to work with.
Okay, so this is actually really like not only a custom build for my taste, but a custom build for my size.
Absolutely.
I'm definitely in. I'll have a bespoke car, custom tailored to me. That sounds awesome. Shall we see this thing?
Let's go check it out.
All right, excellent. Man, it's so good to meet you.
in a state of despair. Walking in and seeing the MG in the bay, it's bittersweet. Man, it's such a beautiful car and has so much potential, but it's in a sad state. So it's bittersweet, but I'm excited to see what it can be.
Is this your first time laying eyes on it?
So I bought it online, and it was like, oh man, this is too good to be true. And then the place that received it was like, you got to come down and see it because it was too good to be true. And I was so disappointed. I can't wait to see what it can be. I can't wait to see what you can do with it, man.
You know, when we first talked this through, he told me he wanted a car he could drive fast and have a lot more power. We're swapping out the inline 6-cylinder with a built 6.2 LS, giving him a custom modified chassis with brand new suspension, wheels, tires, and a wide body kit to give it that racing look. Paint and handmade interior. This isn't your only British car.
No, I have a TC, but all of them are so effing small. Like even this is supposed to be a roomy coupe with a back seat. It's still really small.
You know, the main thing I wanted you to come in for is actually sit in the car to see how much we're working with. You know, I want to know how much room is in the foot well. I want to know, you know, how much, if we got to scoot the seat back or what.
Yeah. So because of the way the wheel sits, this is usually always my entrance. All right. Once you get in, it's kind of okay.
Once you're in,
making the in easier.
Oh, definitely.
Like this is always a problem.
One of the things right off the bat, we can add a tilt wheel to it, flip it up, and
bingo,
and give you a lot
or at least
more room.
Some adjustable column in some sort of way.
Maybe scooting the seat down a little bit.
Yeah.
Scooting it back a little bit.
Why not?
You got about this much headroom now. You hit a little bump and...
Yeah, the saggy headliner doesn't help at all.
Scooting the firewall back is not an option. We got to move the seat back. Let John get his big-ass legs in there. I think his legs are bigger than my chest. What do you think about maybe even a six-pack?
I think we're sharing a brain here. I'm literally already one hand on the gear stick, so I would love a clutch and a manual shift.
In the transmission tunnel, if it had to come out an inch to add a pedal, are you cool with that?
I am.
All right.
I am. I have to do it. I never want to tell an artist how to paint, but I need you to keep this. I know this car is going to look so different when it's done, but this is like undeniably MG, and whatever you put in for a shifter, this has to be the top of the gear knob.
You got it.
I got my heart set on so much of this, but you're the artist, and I'm going to let you do your thing. So I will remove myself from your office. Excellent.
Well, you want to go check out the shop?
Heck yeah, I do.
Let's go. You know, I'm kind of anxious to see the world's take on how extensive does MG. You know, we're totally up for the challenge, and we're definitely going to surprise a lot of people on this one. What's happening, man?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, man, good.
Bill, nice to meet you. Chris Staff.
What you doing here today, man? It's a good-looking truck.
Well, this is my wife's truck.
This is your wife's?
Yeah, man.
And that's a cool truck for your wife to be driving around in.
No doubt.
Man.
Daily driver, too. Takes the kids to school, grocery shopping, you know, the routine. I put in lift and wheels and tires for her, and she's not quite satisfied with them. And
what?
I decided, let's go bigger with it.
That's not big enough for her.
No, I don't think so.
Man, when a big truck rolls in the parking lot, I always get excited. But when the customer wants this big truck to be even bigger, I get really excited.
She's super into lifted trucks, man, and I think she kind of likes it when she's at the gas station and the guy next to her is asking her about her truck.
And she's in a way cooler truck than him.
No doubt. And I can't wait to see her expression when she sees what you've created for her.
So this is a surprise for her?
Yeah, she thinks it's in the shop for a little bit of maintenance. So.
Man, I love it. What better gift to give your wife than a cool car, right? You know, obviously.
No doubt, man. And you know, you did it up on that, and your wife was happy, and I know that we're going to do the same thing here.
A car guy wanted to give his wife a gift. You know, I can totally relate. He wants his wife to have the biggest and the best. That's what we're doing. So I have free rein, big wheels, big tires, big axles, and just go crazy with the air suspension lift so she can totally adjust where she wants to ride out.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Make it even bigger.
Yeah, man, you're talking my language.
Because this truck's going to be so huge, we got to put some retractable steps. It's got wife, kids, we got to make them comfortable. The black plastics around the wheel openings, color match that to really make it not only big, but have that classiness to it also.
Nice. I like it.
And of course, color match everything underneath too. We'll make you something real cool.
Awesome.
Most people, when they hear there's a lifted truck we're going to make higher, get it in, change the springs out, add a little lift to it, put a little bit bigger wheel and tire, definitely not going to do that. Anywhere else in the world, this is top of the line. You can't get better than this. 2500 truck, it's already big, it's already lifted, it's huge, but we're in Texas. Dealerships customizing like this here in Texas, so we're going to take this, attack it, and make Chris a totally unique, totally custom truck. Nice truck. It is, right? Mm-hmm. 2020 Denali 2500. Already got a lift, big wheels and tires on it. It's a cool truck. So why is it here? This big truck isn't big enough. He wants it way bigger. And it's going to be a surprise for this guy's wife.
Don't let my wife hear this.
Can you imagine being the neighbor and the wives talk and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you got her a truck. I got you some flowers.
It's going to ruin the whole neighborhood.
So you say a lot bigger. It's like, what are you thinking?
Put it on the lift and cut everything out. Slick frame rails, front to back. No hangers, no nothing. Independent front suspension. Doesn't look as impressive as a straight axle in the front. So we're going to put a straight axle, front and rear, matching axles with air suspension on it too. Give her that adjustability, that good ride, our signature 2 bends all throughout. Big wheels, big tires, at least 42s on it. And just that big, mean, massive look.
How tall is she?
Well, I don't know. She might need a ladder, but, you know, getting rid of the old Nerf bars, paint the frame, color match all the black plastics and everything, and a ton of underlight. The poor guys, they're going to put now, they're going to feel bad after this one.
And now we have this thing on the air. So I'm going to now strip all this stuff down, put it on a couple pallets. It already has a lift kit on it, so we'll put this lift kit back on the pallet, give it back to the owner. If he wants to sell it, give it to somebody else or whatever, that's up to him.
That's all I needed. We got the drive shaft removed. Now to remove the shocks. When I get it done with all that, I'm going to disconnect the U-bolts and this whole rear end to drop down with the wheels on it so we can roll it out of here.
As far as geometry, we're not going to use none of this stuff. The hangers, the bump stops, we want a completely clean slate. So we're going to come through, torch all that off, grind it back down, and from here to here it'll be completely fresh. It'll allow us to put our pipes wherever we want, however we want to build it, we can build it.
Finding parts these days has been a nightmare. But as fabricators, you don't have to wait to get what you need. You got to make what you need.
We took everything off that truck that was stock, so we need some straight axles to put underneath it. So you don't want to PS while it'll be messed up. So for that, we're just going to change it all over to Power Stroke axles. We have this donor 250 frame laying around. We'll simply drop these out, clean these axles up, and then we'll start fresh with our own brackets ready for the 4-lane. What we want to do is make sure the front axle and the back axle are identical. So I can take this laser, jack this up to where right where the top hits the laser. Then we know this one and that one are perfectly parallel and they're both level. This gives us a great foundation to build everything off of.
We got our axles in place, got the truck where it needs to be. Next thing is making the drop down itself. We're going to make a plate that'll bolt to the frame, tie everything together, and we'll have a spot to make our 4-link bolt to the truck. You see the general idea where the 4-link bars are going to be, where they're going to hit on our plate once we burn it out. From the bottom of the frame. So the only thing I need to really establish now is just a kind of a flowing design. You know, I do this with the chipboard so you can kind of see exactly what the finished part is going to look like. That's me. Check it out, man. Burn it out a 1/4 inch. All right, it's going to be a lot longer 4-link, you know, than other ones we built in the past. So that's why these are so close together. I think it's going to look real cool.
All I'm doing here is just laying out my measurements and bring them back onto my computer and just cut it out right on the plasma table. I will be cutting 2 of them. They're both going to be for the outside. Then I got to do another 2 for the inside. This will perfectly match the template. So now that I know it's perfect, I'm going to cut out 1 more. Punch my hose off the template. Clean it up and then take it over to the guys at their shop.
Feel that side? Bill designed the drop-down bracket. Jesse's already burned it all out. Now I gotta just put it up here on the frame. It'll go together like a puzzle. Since we know the truck's level, we know this is where we want it, we're gonna level side to side. So we know this bracket and this bracket are perfectly level. So we build all the bars the same. Everything comes out identical. And that's a hammer in my ear. Sorting it out just so we know it won't move at all. We're just going to put a tack on each end. Then we'll go through. It's for the suspension. We don't want any wiggle room. What I'm going to do now is drill all the holes on the outside, bolt it 100% tight. I'll drill all the holes from the bottom, and I'll bolt them 100% tight before we tack anything. And then when everything is super tight, then we'll weld this so we know it stays exactly how it should.
The body kit for the 69 MGC has arrived. It's going to change the shape of the car for a meaner, racier look. Max is getting it unloaded into the shop.
Oh, very cool. So full body kit, 2 front fenders, we got inner arches, there's a giant front spoiler there as well. They call it the Sebring body kit, which is kind of at the rounded, they've got nice flares on here. Originally designed off the factory race cars of the late 60s that ran at Sebring.
This should change the whole look of that car.
You're going to cut up a perfectly good MGC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I know there's not a lot of them. I mean, maybe...
About 9,000, mate.
9,000. We'll leave 8,999 at the purist, and we'll make this one a 101. We almost have a whole MG right there.
Yeah.
Before we get this car all tore down, I asked Tim to get Juan and Edgar to install the body kit. You know, first things first.
This is John Cena's car. And there's not a lot you can do to these cars, but he wanted a wide body kit. Because right now it looks kind of weak, kind of skinny. But if we do a wide body kit, it's going to come out a couple more inches on each fender. And then that also allows us to move the wheels out a couple inches on each fender too. That's why we need y'all to do the wide body kit first. That lets us know where to put the front wheels and how wide we can make the wheels in the back that'll fit underneath there. And then we know how far out we can move all of our travels. We can move the wheels, we can order all that stuff. First and foremost, we're going to take all the side trim off, the blinkers off, all that off. Don't throw it away. Put it in a box. We're going to keep it till we know what we're going to use or not. You don't know till we're done.
So I had to take the glass out to get to this molding right here. The white body is going to sit on top of this quarter panel, and this mold is going to be on our way. So yes, we got to do whatever we got to do. Now that we have everything apart, it's time to put our first piece of the wide body kit. See how it fits. It's going to look pretty cool.
This is going to be the inner fender wheel that's going to go inside. Start cutting, pretty much follow my outline. First piece coming off. I got to get in here, cut this whole entire tub all the way, make it nice and smooth, and make ourselves a new one. Way much more space. From here to the inside, it fits pretty good. Once I put the tub in, then I'll put the quarter in, and we'll see what the end result after that.
We're getting ready to put the front bumper on, but in order to do that, we're gonna have to cut our support right here, make our bumper fit. So a lot of people think buying a body kit, have it, throw it on the car, and everything fits perfect. But it's not that way. It was built for a car like this, but it was made into mold, so stuff shrinks and expands, so it's not gonna fit 100%. That's why we body made it. We're gonna put it on there, try to get it as best as we can, and then we're gonna body work it and make it all perfect.
So we're finished installing the body kit and all the body work. Now Jamie's tearing out the old inline six.
There's a lot going on in this little engine bay.
Even back in the 60s, British cars were notorious for squeezing a lot of technology in small spaces. But all that's got to go to make room for that new built LS.
Well, it's the first time looking underneath this car. There's a lot going on. I'm just taking it in right now. So what I'm seeing so far is everything's really compact. It's such a small little car. We're going to be putting an LS in this thing. I mean, is this possible? I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to start by just cutting the exhaust off right here. It's definitely not going to work for what we're doing. No. So I can get this cross member right here. Get the drive shaft off. Get the cross member loose. So all I'm going to do is get these motor mounts way up yonder so I can lift the motor out. Sounds easy, right? Okay, so I got the transmission mount out, got the motor mounts cut loose. I'm pretty much ready to start pulling this motor. So I'm going to go ahead and take everything I need off from the top side so I can get to the motor nice and easy. This is going to nothing. Now it's hooked up to the linkage. That makes no sense. I can definitely see why people hate working on British engines. There's so much going on right here that's just kind of overwhelming. So this is going inside the car. Don't want to cut that. I'm not afraid to do any of this kind of stuff. This right here has made me kind of second guess everything, and I know we're just pulling it out, but I'm just a little, standoffish.
What do you think, Davey? First shot, nothing messed up, goes right out.
Not a chance. Let's see what happens. Something's stuck. We're gonna have to pull it out like that. Maybe if I put a ratchet strap around the front of it and tilt it. Pick it up a little bit. Back up if you can. Stop. I don't know how much more I can go on this strap. Come up. Up, 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 up. Come on. Got it? Yeah. We got it. Cricket want to come out.
So we finished the drop-down brackets, got all the 4-link sets for the 2020 Denali. Now Tim's going to start making the bag mounts.
I needed a start for my bags. We put this piece of tubing up here and clamped it, so you know that both these surfaces are flat. That gives me what I need to start making the tubing to secure this. Like my nose ring. I'll put one up there. I'll mark the bottom where I want it. I'll cut that, and I'll use that one as a template to make the back 4. How's that look in the front? You twist one way or another?
Looks pretty good, I think. Let's see if this one fits. Putting these little vertical uprights may look easy, but trying to get them lined up
a little tight.
Oh, visual. We want to get all these pipes lined up the same way across side to side. That way everything looks symmetrical. Looks pretty good.
Put all the structure in for the lower bag mounts, and now we'll start building the pipes to support this from the frame. You know, it's kind of an extensive signature look. We always take a rolled tubing and roll it from the frame to the bag mount, and from the bag mount to the axle. You know, one of the good things about this project for me is I can relate to this. I can understand what this guy wants for his wife. She wants to have one of the big lifted trucks. And not only that, wanting a one-off custom truck, not something you bought on the shelf. I've had the same bug bite me. You want it a little bigger, you want something a little different, and then you also want to pull up and everybody's like, damn, who did that? And that's why I want to take my time and give them what they expect.
I'm not a fan of the black trim on this Denali, so Juan's going to color match it white to match the rest of the truck.
So we're going to take all these cactus, going to take them off, sand them, prime them, and paint them the same color as the truck. So we're about to color match those pieces for the Denali. You know, a lot of people think, oh, well, you know, it's white. So you have like a lot of variances to white. That's like the hardest color to match. Like this truck right here is just solid white, but it has black in it, blue, green, yellow. All this stuff makes a difference in your color. So our next color is oxidized red, but it looks orange. It takes a little bit of it too, it's like a drop. Alright, so if I did my job right, once we put these pieces on the car, it should blend right in.
You know, the bag mounts and tubings all in place on the Denali 2500.
Are you going to split that?
That, I got to. Because then I can move it back the length of the pipe.
Now I got Tim and John adding all the pipe work to give us some style and that strength.
What we're going to get into now, bag mount to bag mount, and they're going to attach in the center, the same thing down here. And the whole reason for doing that is just to give these bag mounts some support. Since they're so low from the frame, we got to support those to keep them from moving around. We're going to do that same exact thing down here on the axle. We got to keep these bags supported, and off of that, we're going to build our panhard bar. Thought that would happen. Ain't trim that side, should go in.
Now you can see how the top one's going to look. We're going to put a bar here and another bar in the back, and we'll support it off this bar that John put in, and then we'll figure out our panhard bar. This side looks good.
Check that it?
Right there?
Yeah.
Bueno, I'll let you tack it since you have a hood on.
Look good right there. We got these two bars tacked in place, connected to our bag mounts. Now we know for sure there's going to be no left and right movement on these because they're locked into place with this brace.
You know, 69 British car isn't known for good handling, good brakes. You know, we're going to fix that. The MGC is what you call a unibody, where the frame and body are all one piece. We reinforced the frame rails by one piece and just welded it all the way down and around. It's really, really strong now. Can you hold a level on?
Just go that way about an eighth.
Then we're going to connect it down to the new cross member. Then it'll be one solid frame rail.
Pretty close, man. Like it's outlaw on.
Cool. And that looks pretty damn good. Tacked a piece of flat bar to it from the top of the DOM up to here.
Okay.
With all the torque we're adding to this vehicle, we're going to have to add a lot of strength and rigidity. So we're measuring and cutting flat bar, then we'll attach it to the cross member.
Cut one off this one and one off the other one, so we got this done.
We're just going to start boxing it all in. Before long, it'll all be one piece. You know, jobs like this take a long time. But you got to be precise because all the weight of the car is going to rest on it.
All right, so I got the cross member all welded in. Everything's intact. It's really strong now. So next thing is go ahead and let the car down. Get the engine in here. Man, one way or another, I guess we'll get it in there.
Think it'll start?
Nope. No way. Well, bet 20 on it. Oh, you lost that $20.
Why didn't we put jump cables on here a long time ago? So we don't have the built LS for John Cena's 69 MGC yet. So me and Jamie are going to use a mock-up engine to make sure everything fits.
Come on in. Stay up right there, stay up.
We'll get the mock-up engine and trans down in it.
All right, go in.
We'll build our motor mounts, build our transmission mount. You know, if it all goes as planned, which it rarely does, don't manhandle it so much. I mean, be easy with it, you know what I mean? When the new power plant gets here, it'll drop right in.
Yeah. There it is. All right, that's on it.
And that actually fits in there pretty good, huh?
Not gonna say no.
It's not mounted.
I know better.
Man, we're gonna have some pissed off MG people at us, right?
Man, that's okay. We're gonna make it way better than it ever was with all this torque and the suspension.
I mean, that's why you have a sports car for power and performance.
Definitely.
That's exactly what we got now.
So John Cena came in, him and Bill talked. Bill took some measurements, so now we need to get that seat back a little further. I've got an idea where the seat was already before because they're just right to the floorboard, but I have an issue right here. I don't want it, just drilled to the floorboard, so I'm going to go ahead and section out this piece of the floor, move it back 2 inches, and then go ahead and fill in so it's going to look factory. It's going to look like it should have been that way, and it's going to give John that extra space that he's asking for. So I got all 3 of my holes marked 2 inches back. Next thing is go ahead and just cut this piece out. Make a little line here. Cut it one more time. Start forming my metal to fill in the gap. Moving the seat back a couple inches doesn't seem like much, but with the guy as big as John Cena, every inch counts in this little car. So I get back in the car. Alright, so I'm happy with the placement. Looks like it should have been there from factory. So now I'm going to go ahead and put our piece we just made in. Okay, so this is our driver's side. We're going to use this drop as the passenger side. Make some little guide marks right here so I can cut the piece to fit perfectly. When you're welding like this, you don't ever want to overlap, so you want to make sure it's in there nice and tight. So I'm going to try to just kind of deck it down some, just try to refine the shape. It kind of blends it all in. I'm going to go ahead and use a step bit, drill these down. That's going to be our new position for the seat. So this is going to give John a little bit extra room he actually needs.
Start.
Yes,
right?
Definitely.
This car came in, I think everybody was shaking their heads.
I didn't know what we were going to do with this thing.
MG?
Yeah.
John Cena? No way. You see now, everybody's getting excited, right? We've got many hours in it. In all reality, a 69 MG doesn't look like this from the factory.
No, man, that's nice wide down here. This motor, I'm starting to really get the visual of the car, man. It's really starting to come together. I can see the finished product.
Starting to see it, see how cool it's gonna be now. That 6.2 looks at home in here now, right?
Yeah.
With the manual 6-speed transmission, this car is gonna be fun to drive.
Man, I can't wait to ride this thing.
We got a huge head start, but we got a long way to go. Everything we've done, we got to rip all back out and build the suspension, front and rear. You know, new column, new everything in here.
The bad thing about it being a little car is not a lot of space for all this stuff, so it's going to take a little bit of time trying to figure everything out.
Absolutely. You know, it's our first MG, but I think once people see this, it ain't going to be our last. The lifted 2020 Denali is going to be completely over the top. The customer wants to surprise his wife with this huge truck that can also go anywhere. So we're adding huge off-road shocks to the suspension.
Timmy did a nice job doing all the tube work for the upper bag mount. He left one piece off for us so we could install the racing shock, which we just got in. So we're going to start off doing the bottom mount, put it in place so we can make the top mount. And after we got that racing shock in place, we can continue where Timmy left off. Lower mount. We're going to get this tacked in right about here. When lining up these shocks, you just want to make sure you're going to clear your airbag, which is about 12 inches diameter. You want to make sure your caliper clears it. You want to make sure everything clears the shock body and all these compression and rebound tubes. That way the shock does not get damaged. Now, how to make the upper mount? Any great ideas, Hyman?
Make a plate with some DOM and just weld on both sides and with a gusset underneath the DOM. Something like that.
That's what I was thinking too.
Great minds think alike.
I'm gonna make a couple tabs for the upper shock mount. Now we're gonna cut this out 2 triangles like this with a 1-inch hole. And we're gonna put this DOM through the hole, weld it around, square it up. Then we can get this tacked onto the truck. And then we'll make 2 gussets off of that. That'll weld off this DOM all the way down to the frame with extra support. There we go. Got top mount, gussets, bottom mount. That should be pretty strong.
It needs to be mocked up on the truck.
Time to take it apart.
Just start in the back. We'll work our way forward. Sit in the powder coat. White, black. The exhaust, piping, back gloss, everything else white.
Okay. I'm really happy how this thing's looking. Once all the parts get back from powder coat, it will stand tall. We got the frame and suspension back from powder coat. We had it all color matched to the Denali, and it looks great. Everybody ready? So now it's time to put it all back together.
I'm gonna go forward about 4 inches. You know, that's my favorite part of the build. Everything's coming back together, and you can finally see the final picture of what it's really gonna look like. At this stage, it's like a giant puzzle made of steel. Custom 4-link bars, airbags, shocks, new wheels and tires, and bumpers. With a bunch of one-off features, there won't be another truck exactly like this on the road. The clientele we have had through the shop and the names of some of the clientele, you know, Houston icon, like we did Earl Campbell's.
Look at that. Wow-wee, man, that is great.
Houston legend in the rap scene, you know, Slim Thug, we did his.
Oh, sick, bro.
John Cena's a huge deal. He could take his car anywhere. But yet, he chose to come in here to get his dream MGC built. Do we normally work on British cars? No, I don't think anyone in the shop's ever even ridden an MG, much less worked on one. There's a huge following of those cars. No matter how well it's built or how good it looks, there's going to be a whole variety of these people who are upset because of what you did to this MGC. If that breaks some hearts, it breaks some hearts. But we just don't do restorations.
The owner of the 2020 Denali wanted to lift this truck as a really cool gift to give to his wife. What better way to brighten her day than add a ton of light?
So one of the final steps in building this truck is we gotta add a bunch of underlighting
So at night you can see this thing glowing anywhere it goes down the road of the truck. Better get going. We gotta pop holes in the fender liners for the wires to come through, and then mount all these to the wheel wells. So the back wheel wells are a little tricky because they're flat. And these lights, you really want to curve them down to show the suspension and not show the tires. So we gotta try to figure out how to make that work. But once it's done, it's gonna be killer. The only challenging thing about doing this is with 32 lights, and you have to do one at a time and go front to back, go around the truck twice. It takes a lot of time to connect them one to the other. We're going to turn them on and shoot them with the suspension the best way possible to light it all up. When you see this thing at night, it's going to be a real stunner.
You know, I love this story. I love when the husband gives the wife a gift, especially a custom truck. That's a good day for me, too. You know, it's always good to get a build out of the shop, but it's extra special when you can give it to someone for a surprise. Chris, what's happening? Bill, how you been? Hey, man, good. Hi. This is my wife, Jennifer.
Hi, Bill. Nice to meet
you.
What are we doing out here, meeting in a field?
If you hadn't told her
Nothing. She just thinks the truck's in the shop.
Well, it has been in a shop, right? You didn't say what shop, Chris, right?
Right.
So where is it?
Your husband has had your truck at Extensive Metalworks, and we've been doing a few things. It was a big truck, already had a big lift on it, but Chris said, nope, it ain't big enough.
It's even bigger?
Oh, yeah. Surprise! It's something that me and all the guys at the shop are very proud of, and I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Who's more excited?
Okay.
Let's check it out.
Let's do it.
I'm ready, man.
There it is. Oh my God.
Dude.
Look at this.
Wow.
It's so
That's freaking crazy. That didn't even look like the same truck, dude. Wow.
I love it. Love it.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Whoa. Man, that's awesome.
That is so cool.
Man, look at those airbags.
That's beautiful. Man.
You happy?
Yes, I'm happy.
You said you wanted bigger.
It's definitely bigger. It's a monster truck.
Right. I think she just coined a new phrase there.
It's a monster.
The monster truck. The kids are going to be so stoked about going to school now.
In the monster truck.
When it came in, it was a nice truck. Nice wheels and tires, nice lift, had a good stance, but Chris said that ain't good enough.
Yeah.
He wanted his wife riding something just way, way over the top and to give you something special and totally surprise you.
It covered all. Amazing. That thing's a monster now.
I'm in awe. I just still can't believe how good the truck turned out.
Once we got it in the shop, we put it up on the lift and just ripped everything out. Ripped the independent front suspension all out and just started with bare frame rails. Once you make a truck really high with independent, there's a lot of limitations to that. So what we did is put a straight axle in the front and build big 4-link bars going down to the new axles front and rear. Finish it off with air suspension, so you got about 10 inches of adjustability all the way up and all the way down.
That'll come in handy.
When you roll up somewhere, if it just isn't quite tall enough, you just air it up a little more. All the custom metal work underneath a truck like this, brand new straight axle in the front with the big airbags, the big shocks. Man, it looks good.
We're glad you let us kind of have some free reign. We wanted to keep it classy with the Denali look. Bill went ahead and had the whole frame dropped out. The whole thing's powder coated, which really contrasts everything, the black to the white. It really makes everything pop really nice.
It is sick.
It is definitely.
And at night, you're going to see all that detail work underneath there, too. There's 32 underlights that just light up the whole underneath and just the whole concrete all the way around it.
Oh,
fantastic.
Man, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
I say it a lot, but I got to say it again. It's not a one-man show. Everybody without him, man. She's all yours now.
Yes.
I hope you love it.
Yes.
Well, babe, how'd I do?
You did so good. I love it. I love you.
This frame, like nothing.
Dealing with a car this old, things ain't where they should be originally.
You know, Rat Rod, there's nothing specific how to do anything on it.
That boy's on the ground.
This is a real nice 75 square body with a real long bed.
I got a little problem. This tire's rubbing.
All we have to do is put a wishbone in place.
This is going to look a lot cleaner, and it's done right.
Oh, no.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
The core of Extensive is come into Extensive, have some sort of suspension work. You know, that's any custom car, you're going to have suspension work. It's the foundation of any vehicle. That's what Extensive is built upon. You know, suspensions to me were, you know, using the trade that my dad passed down to me, just using those skills to create something cool, to modify a vehicle lower to the ground, but that little trick of maintaining ride quality and handling is not just anybody can do that. Whether it's lifted, lowered, off-roading, car shows, or really all of the above, we build every suspension specific to the customer's needs. I mean, every day you get up, you come to work here, it's something different thrown at you, and you learn to adapt, you learn to evolve, and every job that comes in, we progress and get better and better and better, and just keep pushing those boundaries. And this morning, I'm giving a vehicle back that's the perfect example for what we do. It's a 1928 Rat Rod that was in bad need of a modern suspension setup. What's happening, man?
Morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning.
How's it going?
Man, I'm good. Today's going to be a real good day for one of the two of us.
Hopefully me.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, a rat rod isn't something we normally work on, but it's really cool to get it in, to really focus on.
That's the reason why I brought it to you. I wanted something one-off. I wanted something really cool, and I wanted something that was over the top.
Man, you got it, man. You know, rat rods are kind of the Mad Max of vehicles. They're purposely made to look rough around the edges. But when put to the test, these things get after it. You know, that's what's real cool about working on your car. You know, a rat rod, there's nothing specific how to do anything on it. So to let the creativity flow, build something real cool and unique, I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah, the car's already a one-of-a-kind build, and I definitely can't wait to see what you've done to it.
Yeah, one-off build for you. It's a one-off build for us also.
Perfect.
Let's check it out.
Let's do it.
Come on, Lulu. Check that out.
That's it right there.
Right. Drop it down, Lulu.
Man, that boy's on the ground.
That's right, man. It's sitting flat on the ground.
Man, hell yeah, I'm loving it, man. Man, when that thing hit the ground, I was excited. Man, I was pumped.
The car looked really cool. It was already unique, but we had to put it over the top. First thing we had to do was get in the shop, get it all tore apart, get those old leaf springs out of here, and just start fresh. You know, we could have just put some bags on the front, a couple of brackets, and sent it on its way, but as unique as this vehicle is, I wanted to come up with something that just grabs your attention. I came up with a cantilever system just to put it over the top.
You did everything that I was wanting, plus more. Man, that cantilever system is just, man,
it's pretty cool, huh?
Man, just doing the geometry and just to get that to function is the reason why I brought it here. Man, that cantilever front suspension, it was state of the art. It also matched the old school look of the car. I really like that. It's different.
You know, in the rear, too, we just took off all those springs and everything and put a tooling suspension on it with a bag on that. So the ride quality's there, the handling's there. It's probably the only thing comfortable of driving this is going to be the suspension now.
Well, that was the whole reason why I brought it to Extensive, is because I wanted the suspension to be one-off, and I wanted it to be a very comfortable ride. And I bought it to drive. I didn't buy it to sit in the garage. I bought it to drive.
Hell yeah. And, of course, you know, we couldn't paint it, especially in, you know, Houston, the humidity that we have here, you know, let the atmosphere do its thing, and just the rust just took over, and it just blends everything in. It looks like it's been there for 100 years.
The craftsmanship and the work that you did.
Man, I appreciate it, man.
Man, Bill, thank you very much for the work, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'll see you around.
You got it.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, one more job well done for us, one more out the door, but it's time for me to get back to work because we got many, many, many more to go. talk about your record driving skills, but a couple parts fell off on the way here.
Not this time. It's ready for you. This is how we got it, just like this.
Whose is this?
Guy named Eddie. He's on the way. Good luck on this one, buddy.
We're out. They're gonna leave me with this one, huh?
Yes, sir. You got this, dude.
You know, a project like this is pretty much on that line. You know, do you spend a ton of money, ton of time to make this a really cool truck, or chop it up, sell it for scrap? Because Ford was busy making things for the war, not too many of these 42s were ever made. So, to this day, it's one of the...
Hey, Bill!
What's happening, man?
What's going on, man? Edward Wilcox.
Hey, nice to meet you. It's your truck?
Yes, sir. 1942 Ford pickup truck. My dream truck.
Oh, yeah, this is a dream come true for you?
Dream, man. I've been working on a lot of stuff, but this is the one I want.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. It's my baby right here.
So, why 42 Ford?
Well, you know, the 42 is one of the rarest trucks. To me, it has a lot of class and style with it. It's the first one that had the flat nose in the front. I think is very unique, but it needs a lot of love and attention.
It does. I ain't gonna argue with you on that one. Mm-hmm. So what do you see when this truck's all done? What do you see here?
I see something bad. I mean, I want a full custom job on this.
You want us to take this truck and just totally remake the whole truck over for you?
Yes, sir, but in parts. I'm gonna have to do a little at a time. I've been looking for this truck over 20 years, and it's been a long road for me to find it, and I finally found it.
Hey, I'm totally cool with that. You know, a project like this can most definitely be overwhelming to a lot of people. So,
yeah.
How far do you want to take this?
Well, Bill, I would like to get everything underneath done first.
So just start out with the rolling chassis first, getting the foundation all set.
Yes.
You know, it has a straight axle on the front.
Yeah.
You know, getting rid of that, putting a Mustang 2 style front end.
Sounds good.
You know, disc brakes on it. You know, a good rear end in it. 4-link on the back.
Yeah.
And are you wanting it adjustable at all, or just stationary?
I would like the static ride of it.
So no adjustability. You just want to...
Just something that I can just enjoy.
So just a static drop on it. So like coilovers on this would be ideal. Get that stance right. All you got to do is get in, start it up, and ride.
That's what I'm talking about.
No buttons, nothing to mess with. Just ready to roll. You know, this truck has 80-year-old technology. So what we're going to do is just build a Mustang 2 style independent front suspension that's really popular in most hot rods. And a 4-link in the back with coilovers all the way around to give it a good ride and a really good stance.
And Bill, just to let you know, I have the engine and transmission, so I'll be bringing over to you a lot of parts.
That's even better. So what we can do is get the stance right, the ride right, get the engine, transmission in it. You know, get you a column in it so you can steer it. I mean, you can push it around and do whatever you want to do to be able to go on that next phase.
Sound like a winner.
Let's make it happen.
We're gonna make it happen.
You know, this 42 Ford, it's in rough shape, you know, but it's a dream truck to someone. You know, with any dream, you got to start with the foundation. Like, you can't buy an old house and just put doors and windows in it when the floor is falling through. You got to start with the foundation. In this case, starting with a solid frame, brand new suspension, that is ground floor. That's where you start with. And then once you have all that established, you can build upon that. Then you can, you know, get the body panels right, get the paint right, interior. That's second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth stage. You know, I'm glad this truck's been brought in here. You know, we're going to get him hooked up, get him on the right track. You know, if it's us that's going to finish the truck, or if he's going to take it and build it in stages all himself, this is where it's got to be started with. We put the 42 Ford on the lift. Right away you can see this truck has a big problem. Appreciate you getting on up there, Timmy.
Hope you don't expect much.
You know, it's just about to come tell you what we're going to do to this, and it just got added, right?
Put it right back in the ocean. That's where it looks like it came from.
Man, there is nothing left of this frame, like nothing. You know, this is his dream truck. He's been wanting an early 40s Ford for quite some time. Finally got it, but man, it's in rough shape, right?
Hopefully you got it cheap.
We're going to be building this in stages. So the first stage of this is we're going to build the front suspension, get rid of the illustrated axle. We put a Mustang 2 style front end with coilovers, front and rear, 4-link for the back. Give it a really low stance, something that looks really good. We'll put brand new brakes on it, wheels, tires, and he has this engine trans that we're going to mount in here also. That with a column so he can steer it, he's good to go. That's his stopping point right now.
So you want to mess with this frame? You're going to call him and see if he can get another frame. Or we're going to build one.
We have to change the frame. There's nothing we can even do with this. It'd take more time and labor to try to repair this than it's worth.
So that's basically where you're at right now. You want to make a rolling chassis for stage 1, and then whenever he gets ready to do phase 2, phase 3, if we do it or somebody else does it, all the suspension and the drivetrain's done.
Yeah, that'd be 100%. Okay. So one other thing, it's not leaving here with this. So out of here looking like that. I'm gonna break that to him as soon as I get on the phone with him right now. Let's go ahead and get it all tore apart. You know, front end off, cab off, roll the whole thing out, and we'll get it going. All right, man.
Grab that corner. No matter what the build is, it's always better to fix the chassis and suspension first. It saves a ton of time and heartbreak later. You know, a lot of times people ask you how you like to get projects. When you do get them like this and the guy does want to do it in sections, it's kind of relief because a job like this would normally take at least a year, if not longer. So it's kind of nice to have something that comes in, leaves, and then we get a fresh start if he brings it back. This is the easiest teardown ever. Right?
Yeah.
Now you got the front end off and the cab off, you can really see how bad this frame is. It's all split here. It's all rusted through. This whole core support is just old and nasty. If you put any kind of power to it, you're going to wrinkle it up. Luckily, he found another frame for us to start with. So essentially, we're starting back from scratch with a new chassis, but a way better chassis. Sometimes we build our own chassis on a project like this, but to save a bunch of time, the owner sourced a used frame that's going to work perfect for what we're looking for.
This guy brought in another chassis?
We told him how bad the other chassis was, so he found this one. You know, this one looks like it had a small block in it too. So take some of this out, but at least the front of the frame is all still there and it's not rusted all the way back like the other one was. Yeah. Just get in there and bolt it up. Take some of this other stuff off and then we'll go from there. Because we're adding the LS with a lot more power, we're going to box it in to help support the frame, reinforce it, and then also give us a good platform. We're going to add our Mustang 2 front suspension to have a crossmember that comes down and comes back up. So that'll give it something really good, really solid to tie into, which will make it a lot stronger, and it will also take some of the torque for the motor to keep this thing from twisting up in the front. I mean, you can see over the years how much it's not really consistent. I'm trying to straighten it up, but you can see right here, how much the frame will twist just back and forth. So that's why we're wanting to put a plate all the way down this side to here, and the same on this side. You have something that's a C, it wants to collapse the ends. You make it full boxed in, it's super strong. Basically what I want to do is want to line up this corner with this corner so it gives us this whole valley that the weld will fill in all the way down. It won't be standing up on top of the frame. It fills it in and it's a nice looking weld. Now the bottom one I'll raise up 3/16, cut it, and it'll be good to go. Now you can see right here, it's corner to corner, corner to corner. Now we can put a weld all the way down there, and put a weld all the way down the top.
See a cool truck come to the shop, especially with the old friend driving up in it. Corey, what's up, man?
What's going on, Bill?
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Man, all right. This the latest and the greatest?
This is the newest one.
real nice 75 square body with a real long bed. Corey owns a local body shop, and I've known him for a long, long time. So what's up, man? What you got doing?
Let me show you what I got. I got a little problem. This tire's rubbing on this bedside right here.
Well, yeah, it's touching right now.
It is. So the rear end's not totally centered up.
Right.
The wheels, the offset of the wheels, they come off of another truck. I mean, they work on the truck, but it's a real tight gap.
I see.
On this.
Man, definitely riding this low. You can't be doing that. You don't want to be riding around real high in the back, right?
No, I like to ride it low, and as it sits right now, I can't ride low.
What's the other side look like?
But the other side, it's over here. I've got a gap that I don't have over there.
Yeah, you got a little bit more room on this side.
Yes.
It's definitely not 100% center, but even if it is 100% center, you still have the panhard bar, right? You have that fixed area on the frame, and then coming over to the axle, it's going to follow that plane no matter what. So you're going to have a little side-to-side movement. And because that wheel is so large, the tire's got a little bulge to it, and just the way the square body's made, it is so close to the bed sides, the fender well trim, to the tire, right? There's no room for movement. A lot of vehicles we deal with, there's only a couple things you can do to fix a problem. Narrow the rear end, get a different wheel and tire, or fix the centering issue. If everything else is good underneath here, I think all we have to do is get rid of the panhard bar and put a wishbone in place.
Yeah.
That way the suspension can still go up and down, but it won't have any side-to-side movement, so you'll be good with that. You know, wishbone is basically a telescoping bracket that mounts to the frame and mounts to the axle and keeps everything 100% centered.
So, Bill, if you think the wishbone will work, can I just leave it here and get it taken care of?
Man, you know we got you on that, Corey. We'll definitely make it work with what you got and save that paint and save them tires for you.
I'd appreciate that.
It's an easy deal, man. No sweat. Let's go in the office. Let's make it happen. All right. Having a custom car comes with responsibility. It's not buying a car off the lot and you put the keys in it and you just drive it wherever you want. When it comes to a custom vehicle, especially a lowered custom vehicle, you got to learn how to drive it. It's not like driving a stock vehicle. It's how far to turn with big wheels. You can't just turn lock to lock on some instances. You got to swerve around potholes because you have a low profile, and how to ride with and to ride low and comfortable and not have any issues. You know, that's just part of the game when you're customizing a build that's already been custom built. You know, the issues that's on Corey's truck with the wheel clearances, you know, it's very, very common. You know, different wheels, different tire, you know, different diameter, different width. I mean, there's all kind of problems that arise anytime you change up anything. In the custom game, the bigger wheels and the lower you get, the better. But it's a fine line between looking good and drivability. Anytime you change to larger wheels and tires, on a lower truck like this C10, you're asking for trouble.
You ready?
Jamie and Lulu are taking off the bed so we can get a good look at what we're working with.
Come on. All right, let it down, guys. All right, thank you. All right, so we got the bed off now. We can see what we're working with. We'll go ahead and start disassembling this thing and start putting our wishbone.
You got it.
We got this.
I'm gonna watch you do it.
No, we got this.
Man, there's not a whole lot of room up here. I mean, the bed sits right here, right? You got the exhaust there, you got the frost over there. Instead of messing with any of that, this looks kind of, I mean, it's all right, it's functioning, but I don't really like the looks of it. And I knew we were going to do the wishbone on it. I know he had clearance issues, but, you know, Corey's a friend of mine. I can't be having him ride around looking like this. Now that we have the bed off the C10, I'm seeing a couple more issues. You know, I don't like the plastic line and some of the placement of the valves and compressors. You know, I definitely prefer hard line because it will last way longer and it looks way better. I think moving this tank, moving the air tank back where the factory gas tank was, it'd be totally out of the way on the outside of the frame. smooth compressors and everything out there, so we'll have plenty of room to build a really sturdy, cool-looking wishbone. And taking out all this flat bar and everything, and then boxing it back in with a piece of 2x4, and that'll give some rigidity back in this old riveted frame. And we'll make it look just as good on the bottom of it than it does on the top.
Alright, cool. Good. So we're gonna go ahead and dump the air out of the tank right now. Okay, so you can see they overcut the frame right here, and we want it to look like it was made like this. So we're gonna make a straight line, even with the notch right here, so it looks nice and clean from underneath. It's gonna function better. We're gonna get rid of the DOT line. We're gonna put hard line on it. We're gonna make sure all the air management's in a nice, tidy position. Oh, it's gonna look great underneath. It's gonna look a lot better than it did before. Bubble gum welds. You can see this weld's a good weld. This is actually one of our notches right here. You can see it's nice, consistent penetration right here. And then you look over this other tab right here. It doesn't flow. I can see spaces underneath it. Not only does this weld not look pretty, it's not consistent, probably not strong. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this piece. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this flat bar out now. This is my last piece. I got everything cleaned up inside the frame. We're gonna cut this out, be good to go.
As for the 42 Ford, the real key is finding that perfect spot for the new cross member.
Dealing with a car this old, things ain't where they should be originally. We fitted the front end with the cab, got it where it needs to be. Now we gotta get our wheels where they need to be. We can't line it up where it should be, and we can't line it up by eyeballing because everything's just not right. So we're gonna do the best we can with some plumb bobs, center it in our wheel opening, one on each side, and then run as a straight edge across, and that's how we're gonna mark the centers of our frame. That way we know exactly where to put our cross member at. When I'm setting all this up, lining it up, measuring, not only does that cross member need to be dead center on that frame, but we also want that wheel to end up centered in the wheel opening. You don't want it too far back, too far forward, because it's not gonna look right. So when we get that lined up on the frame, all square, perpendicular with frame rails and everything, we gotta come back and make sure our wheel is gonna be centered as well before we can go and start welding all that in place. There you go, buddy.
All right, now we have everything centered up, everything's leveled, the frame's level, this is level, it's centered where we want it. Now we're gonna make a couple pieces to connect this other piece back here. We'll box it all the way in so it'll be 100% strong. Squared up, tacked in place with a piece of flat bar. We need to make some sides for it. So we took a template, kind of measure where it needs to be, and we'll take this over there and make this out of metal. All right, Lulu did a good job getting everything welded in. Now you can see this is all boxed in. So this connects this frame to the cross member. Now we can drop the big engine in here. It'll handle the horsepower and the torque since everything's fully boxed.
We've already narrowed the rear end on the 42 Ford. And because the owner wants to ride low, we got to make room for those 22-inch wheels.
Perfect. That is like a Hot Wheels now, huh?
Now John's going to notch the frame so there's plenty of clearance.
Now we got this all cut out. We know how far up our tire is going to go bottomed out. We're going to put this template inside and outside the frame on both sides, weld it up, and then cut this section out and box it all in. And we got us a notch. So basically, when this truck is bottomed out, like hitting a hard bump, the axle was going to be way up here. Of course, bigger than that circle is just reference. But at ride height is literally going to be about right here. So you need that little bit of space and drivability so your axle doesn't bottom out on your frame. Now we got all our notch plates in line with these two parallel bars, and they're all welded out to the frame. Now we can cut this center section out on both sides, and we'll have us a notch. After that, we'll fill them in. Now we weld. So I got the last cap piece tacked in place. Now this is ready to get welded out. Once I'm done, the frame will be done.
I'm gonna figure out how to make a wishbone.
Lulu's getting the wishbone going on the C10, which will look like the turkey wishbone from Thanksgiving when it's done.
First step is get a piece of angle, then we got straight edge, clamp this to the table, and from there, get some measurements off the rear end, and come back and draw it on the table. Outside is 24.
On a 2-link rear suspension, there's nothing holding the axle going from side to side once you remove the panhard bar. So we need something to keep everything in place. And the wishbone does that by 3 fixed points that are going to hold everything straight going up and down, and has a telescoping point that lets the 2-link go up and down without being in a bind.
Now I can notch my shirt. Right, here's the moment of truth. Lands where it needs to land. That's what we want right there. So now that I have these outside pieces tacked in here, now you can see why it's called a wishbone.
Okay, so while Elu's making our wishbone, I'm gonna go ahead and relocate our compressors back here. I've already started on one and got my marks for the next one. Go ahead and put my compressor here, tack it up. Then I know right where I can put my manifold, weld that on. We'll run our air lines to it. Everything to our tank, which is going up front, what we talked about. It's just gonna look a lot cleaner, and it's done right. I'll weld these out real quick. I'll mount my compressors. Then I'll be able to see right exactly where my manifold's gonna go. Okay, well that's not gonna work there. The issue I'm having right now is just a clearance issue, so I'm gonna go ahead and just shorten this bracket right here for our manifold. I'm leaving about an 1/8 inch off the manifold, so I still have room for my air lines to go in behind the compressors. Let me take this off, go ahead and shear it. You can see there's enough room to get our airline out. It's nice, clean, it's tight, looks good, it's compact. Now tack it and weld it.
The C10's getting really close to getting done. We finished welding, painting, and installing the wishbone.
Now that we've got the wishbone on there, everything's perfect. It's going to stay exactly centered between both frame rails, so we're not going to have any issues with the tire rubbing.
Lulu and Jamie are finishing by running hard lines in between the air compressor, tank, and airbag.
Come on with it, move, please, move.
Man, it might have taken only a couple days to knock out.
Go forward. I think that's it, guys.
But the changes we made are going to make a world of difference. Corey, what's happening?
What's going on, Bill?
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Man, doing good, man, doing good. Man, I know you came in, you were just having some issues, the clearance issues of taking a wheel and tire off another truck and fitting it on another truck that wasn't really designed for it. We got you all hooked up, everything. Let's check it out.
All right, man. Oh, man. Much better. Look like you're ready to drive.
Yeah, man.
Wheels look good.
Right?
Man, the truck's only been gone a week, but seeing it coming out that gate, I'm so happy to have it back.
Beautiful C10, man. Good looking truck.
Man, thanks, Jamie.
Corey, you know, you came in, you had air suspension, of course, you got to have that riding low, but it had a Panhard bar on it, but that's just how our kits are designed, right? Mm-hmm. But in this case, with those wheels and tires, with this bedside, the way a square body's designed, man, everything has to be on the money for everything to play right. Well, now everything has been redone. We cut off all the old Panhard bar and just started over. We built a wishbone, so there's no side-to-side movement now. So when you raise and lower, the rear end stays perfectly centered in between the bed sides.
Exactly what I needed on this one.
You know, while we're underneath there, truck need a little extra love, you know, so.
Yes. Yeah, we moved a lot of stuff around, man. Went ahead and moved the air tank, moved the compressors, moved the manifold, did hard lines to everything, cleaned everything up. It looks amazing out there. It matches the truck now.
Awesome.
It looks real good underneath there now, man, and it works real well.
I'm glad y'all took it in.
You know, you don't want plastic lines on a custom build like this. I mean, you have vibration issues, chafing, rubbing, heat. You don't want any of those problems. I mean, that'll leave you on the side of the road. So a nice hard line is definitely the way to go. Corey, you know, it looks good underneath there. We got everything in its place, but, you know, it's the moment of truth of dropping it down on the ground and making sure, you know, the clearance is at 100% and no issues.
Let's check it out.
Jamie, drop that sucker down. Let's show him how centered it is.
Oh, man, all right. Looks like the wheels fit now, Bill.
Yeah, both sides.
Both sides, yeah. They clear.
Right.
That looks a lot better. I can already tell. Gap here, wheels clear there.
Yeah, it's on the money.
Same gap over here. It's perfect.
Man, it goes straight up and down.
Exactly what it needs. That way I can roll low.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you, Bill, and thank you, Jamie, for everything that you did.
Man, you're very welcome.
Have fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Lulu and Jamie always got my back. They did a great job. And Corey, enjoy driving your truck around as low as you like.
Take it easy.
The roller chassis is coming together on the 42 finish, mounting the LS and add a new steering column.
I'm glad Tim boxed in that open channel frame, because this is a whole lot of motor, and I don't think that original frame would have held up. So with that said, with it being boxed in, shift it over that way, should have no problems holding this power plant. Right there. So now we got suspension done, the rack in place. We're gonna install the steering column inside the truck, get it all mounted up, and then we're gonna connect our steering shaft from the end of the column to the end of the rack. First thing we're gonna do is take that bottom plate off the floor that the original steering column went through and make a new one that's flat. That way we can install this lower column mount, which we just call it an eyeball, because when you put it in the floor, you can move it around, pivot it however you want. That'll get bolted back up to the floor, and the steering column will slide through here. And that's our lower mount. Now all we gotta do is make us a new panel, the same shape as what came out, on a new piece of flat metal. What I'm doing now is just figuring out the center of my lower mount. We need to cut out a hole about a good 3 inches. Perfect circle, see? With these bolt holes, then we'll slide our column through, and the column will get mounted to the bottom of the dash. Does it fit? Of course it does. Just about the right spot we need it. Now the only thing we got left to do is connect from the steering column to the rack and pinion. What we're gonna use is this piece of 3/4 DOM that slips into this U-joint. And from here, we're gonna come down to another U-joint with a Heim that'll come right off the frame, and then from there to the rack. Take a measurement. Now check it in place and test it out. Alright, this is the moment of truth. We got the steering wheel. I'll get this mounted on the column. Give it a few cycles, left to right. See how it feels. see what it does with the wheels on, but for now, all we gotta do is weld this out. Steering is done.
We're getting really close to being done with stage 1 on the 42. Jamie's gonna put on those huge 22s. Looks nice. I like that. One thing that's been bothering me since I've seen this truck is that grill. So we're gonna replace it with an original vintage grill.
That looks much, much better.
You know, in the world of custom, there's extremes. There's extreme low and there's extreme high and, you know, everything in between. When it comes to being the lowest of the low, there's, you know, a certain thought process of what all has to be done to create something really, really low to the ground. And you're thinking about fender wells, you know, how big a wheel is going to fit underneath there. In some cases, a new frame being built. I mean, there's a lot goes into, you know, when something's sitting on the ground like that. You know, as far as lifted trucks, you know, it's not just throwing springs on or anything like that. You know, that's a whole nother thought process of what suspension is going to work the best at what height. You know, the different shocks, the different wheels, different tires, different brakes, different everything. I mean, there's a lot to be thought about when you're building custom suspensions. Custom suspension is part of the custom build. You gotta have it.
Bill?
Man, what's happening?
Oh man, I'm just here, brother, waiting on you.
Yeah, well, yeah, everybody's waiting on me, right? Can't build them fast enough.
That's right.
Man, you came in, you know, you had your dream truck and a big, big dream.
Oh, yes, I do.
You know, phase 1 is complete, man. I think you're really going to like it to finally see all those parts come together.
I cannot wait, man.
You ready to check it out?
Yes, sir.
Come on, man.
Oh, Lord. Oh, man. God, you did it, brother. That's what I'm talking about right there.
What you think, man?
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm looking for. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And when I went around the corner to see my truck, I said, wow, I couldn't believe all the parts that I had he put together, and I couldn't believe it. I'm loving it.
There you go.
That's the way I dreamed it. When can I start driving?
Right. We're still a little ways away from that one.
Oh, yeah.
We ain't driving yet. That's the next go around. But, you know, phase 1.
Yeah.
I mean, we took the parts that you had and just built what's becoming your dream truck. We got it on the lift and just noticed the frame was totally rusted out. So luckily you brought us a new frame, good foundation. We can start building front suspension, start building the rear suspension, coilovers on it, just to get that stance right. We took the wheels and tires that you supplied us and we put the wheel up in place and just built all the components to make the wheel and tire fit on there to make everything work properly. And then kind of, you know, give a little throwback look with the original grill and the styling that's there too. I think it just makes the whole project look a little better with, you know, the classic styling still there.
And it looks a lot better that way than how I had it before. I'm happy, man. I can't be no happier than what I am right now.
Right? Well, let's check out the back. You can see the suspension and everything underneath of it.
Oh, man, this is what I'm talking about right here.
You know, usually you see we do air suspension or coilovers. In this case, you wanted that static, low all the time, so we went with coilovers on the back.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we built a parallel 4-lane so you can put whatever power is under the hood, this suspension can handle.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
You know, with a big notch in the frame, so you got plenty of wheel travel. So you still have that comfortable ride. With that wheel travel, still has plenty of room, so it's going to ride and handle very, very well and be real low.
Oh, yes, sir. That's what I want. And it looks lovely. You did an excellent job. You got, and I like that. I really do. That's why I came to you.
Hell yeah. Let's check out inside here.
Okay. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all keep on just surprising me. Man, it's nice. That's exactly what I'm looking for right there.
You know, when a truck's in a stage like this, one of the most important things, you know, once you get it rolling, you got to be able to steer it. You're going to be working on it yourself and moving it around, so you have to have a column in.
Looks good. The column, how he did the work was excellent. I think that was a perfect job.
Let's check out under the hood.
Okay.
We'll just grab it. We'll just set it down right here.
That's my baby.
Man, you see it all coming together now, really, right?
Man, it looks nice.
You said you got about 800 horsepower, huh?
Yes, sir.
It looks right at home underneath here, right?
Yeah.
Built a new crossover, added the rack and pinion steering, built the control arms, up, round, lowers, we built the motor mounts, built the trans mount. Man, you set up.
It looks real nice, man. You did a lovely job on everything. Hey, this is the first phase. I can't wait till the second, third, fourth, whatever, how many stages it is.
That's totally up to you.
A little at a time, so,
yeah.
I'm trying to do it. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, man. It's always cool to help somebody out that's been waiting and waiting and waiting to get their truck built. Edwards had this dream for quite some time, and it's cool to help somebody out. That's what we do, man. See what needs to be improved and get after it. 1960 Jeep Willys. Now the work really starts getting going. Putting all that metal back in place, that's a huge job. But we're just really getting started.
Looks better already, huh?
We still don't have an engine for it.
I'm trying to find a late model Hellcat motor.
Oh, Lord, look at this thing, man.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Let's see what happens here. Man, it always makes for a good day. Just take a break from the shop, come out and check out the new slab. Relieve a little frustration. Doing donuts is going to be short-lived. This is soon to become Extensive Metalworks' new headquarters with a lot more space. Extensive started in one small little 30 by 40 shop. For the past 25 years, we've just been building and building and building, and we're busting at the seams right now. There's nowhere else to build. Here we are, brand new property, about to build an even bigger facility, 8.5 acres, starting out with 30,000 square feet, and we'll see where it goes from there. We have plenty of space to keep going, keep progressing. I never would have dreamed this, so I can't say a dream come true, but this is the next phase in Extensive Metalworks evolution. We have a whole lot left to do before the new shop is finished and we can move in. But some things can't wait, like the record. It seems like we just bought it, so I'm going to run over to RPM, see my buddy Ryan.
What's happening, man?
What's up, Bill? See what he's got on the lot? Get that new record going. Man, the 5500 you built me is a badass truck, but I got a little problem with it.
What's that?
Our builds always get bigger and better. They've been getting heavier too. So I'm just feeling like I need a little bit bigger truck. I'm just overloading the one we got right now. I think it's time for, a trade up.
Cool, let's go find another project.
Let's go check it out. Man, you got all kind of stuff out here.
We just sold him a new truck a year ago. What about something like this here?
Man, it's a big old truck.
With Bill, whatever he has is going to get bigger, bigger, and bigger.
75 ton?
100 ton.
100, huh?
They go bigger.
Man, this is what I'm talking about right here. This size truck, I won't ever have a worry about anything again. But the International, man, I like that. Let's check that one out.
That's the one you need. Come on.
Good looking truck, man. Love it. I love the pewter. I'm usually a black truck guy, but pewter looks good. Just looking at the International, the other trucks are just a little more industrial. The International just has that look of just wanting to be customized.
26,000-pound GVW, so you can haul the weight that you need to haul.
Yeah, that's what I don't want to worry about.
No swinging and banging.
Man, I love the wheelbase of this. The air suspension on the back, so we can get even lower, huh?
Yes, sir.
That's a must. I'm seeing a lot of potential here. Maybe split the bumper, maybe give it a little bit more length. Once you get the bed on, you get the toolboxes on, we can build a running board that comes from the front fender all the way back to the back, right into the boxes itself, and really finish all that out.
Brand new equipment. You're going to chop it all up?
Yeah.
Just like you do with everything.
That's what we do, man. See what needs to be improved and get after it. So once you do what you do, I get it over to my shop and do what I do.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Let's do this one.
Bill's going to do his own custom stuff once we're done, so we need to hurry up and get in action and take care of our side. Our cabin chassis that we're using has a long extended frame. We're going to need to whack that off at the back so we can have our pivot point. So we're going to cut the frame off at the right length that we need.
Now we're ready for the bed. The next step is going to be set the bed on the frame. Okay, coming down.
We're using a steel bed, 12,000-pound deck, 102 wide, thing that Bill puts on it. Get that welded on, bolted down, get that mounted up, and we'll move to the next step, which will be toolboxes.
Okay, push. This is the toolbox that we're going to install. We call it Monster Toolbox because it's the biggest one. It's a 78 by 20. Alright. This is huge. Go in some more. Slowly. Right there. We use silicone to seal the holes. That way water doesn't go into the toolbox.
You alright? Bill took care of me so good on my dad's truck. We're gonna give it that little extra pizzazz. Sneak it off to the paint booth. Add this color and blend it on down here on the side rail. Give it that little extra customization.
We just got the truck back from the paint. It's ready to go, so now we're gonna put the pylon, which they painted too. We're gonna do the light bar after that, and then keep on with the winch cable and tow some trucks.
It's real cool to build a rolling business card. This wrecker is going to be one of Extensive's shop trucks. Something that we use on a daily basis that gets the job done, but it's got to look real cool while we're doing it. You don't want to be riding around a regular old wrecker, that everybody else has. When somebody sees our truck go by, I want not only the wrecker community, but everybody to go, damn, that's a cool truck. Oh yeah, it just happened to be a wrecker too. What you think, Timmy?
This thing's bad. Really nice.
Little upgrade, right?
First thing I noticed, it's got 22.5, so we should be able to haul whatever we want.
No more problems.
Is the deck longer on this one too?
Way bigger, man. I mean, everything about it's just huge. Oh, RPM did real good on it, man. But it needs a little bit more upgrading. I want to build something that is not only a cool record, but I want it to be a cool truck.
Well, I already know you got something planned for here.
I mean, definitely got to build some running boards, from the bottom of the cab all the way down where the lower step's at. From the front wheel to the rear wheels. Fenders over the wheels, get rid of the mud flaps and all that.
That's going to look super clean.
Yeah, real cool. And, the front bumper too, it looks too puny on here. So cut it, split it, stretch it. So it's the same height as the running boards all the way around. Gives it that meaner look from the front. Color match it and add a bunch of lights. It's going to look cool. One other thing is replacing this pylon. Man, it looks cool. They did a great job, but I think it'd be way cooler with one big toolbox back here and with the light bar sitting on top. Something that really clean it up back here. And
especially down here in Texas, we need something to keep everything out of the weather. Well, the next question is, where are you going to work on this thing? It's too long for the bays. We can't shut the doors.
Yeah. You got to get it in where you fit it in, right?
Awning it is.
Yeah. Let's do it. Man, this is going to be the quickest teardown I think we've ever done, man.
I hope so.
Yeah. We're going to make a new toolbox.
Okay.
So we need to take off the pylon. ahead and set this down. For now, we're going to leave the steps on until we draw out how the running boards are going to look. Shoot, the only thing else is the front bumper. That's it.
Okay, Bill was absolutely right. That was definitely the fastest teardown I've ever done.
We're in the process of figuring out how we're going to do the running boards for a factory truck. You know, a guy getting in and out of the truck every day, it works. But it just doesn't look, it don't look custom. We're going to fill in all this void in between the toolboxes and the fender, you know, pretty much from wheel to wheel. I want to have a nice, clean running board that's going to hide all this and have one long step. So it's going to look cool and be functional. It's going to be fun. You know, we're at one of the very beginnings of the process. You know, first you got the idea. Second, we're going to transfer the idea over to the chipboard. I'm going to make a pattern. Go check and see if it fits to it, man. And in the process of doing this, you're thinking in your head, hey, how can I make it cooler? How can I make it better? This is going to dead end right into the box. Need to make that a little longer.
That looks pretty good.
I got a little piece of scrap just so we can start bending and just make sure we don't bend ourselves into a corner. You know, I've bent pieces before and then it won't fit into the brake. So I'm just bending this at the shape we're going to bend in a big sheet. That way we don't waste a big sheet of metal. That won't work.
Yeah, that'd be the last bend too. We'll make it. Good morning.
What?
Yeah, man, I finally cut it.
Who are you?
It's been a while since I cut it. It's been a little over 3 years, so
dude,
feels so much different. It's not all on my face when I ride, but you know, it's still taking getting used to. I keep on rubbing my face and my beard's not there. It's kind of crazy.
Well, it's good to have old Jaime back.
Right on.
You know, for me, a big key to metal fabrication is making it look like it came from the factory like this. We're bending the running boards on the 22 International. We're going to make it match the overall shape and flow of the factory truck.
Come on down.
Ready?
Yeah, try that.
You know, it's really critical in bending anything like this with multiple bends to make sure every bend is in the right spot. If you mess up on the first one, all the other ones are going to be out of whack and crooked. It's going to be, we definitely don't want that.
We're at this bend, right?
Yeah. Man, I love bending metal. Just satisfying, you know what I mean? There we go. Shit, man.
Looks good.
Yeah.
It's definitely change the look of that thing.
There's one way to find out. Push it in a little bit. All right. It's pretty close. And now you can kind of see where all the bends actually fit on the truck itself. One clean look all the way from front wheel all the way to the back. Damn, that's pretty badass.
You got to see out there what Bob did that Jeep. He cut the whole thing in half this way. He cut it that way. So the Jeep's now in 4 pieces.
Oh, man. What y'all talking about?
I was just explaining to Max how Bob just walked right up to that Jeep, just looked at it, and just cut it straight in half.
Man, you'd be heartbroken. I brought in Bob for one of our biggest metal jobs in a while. The owner of a pristine Willys Jeep wants to give it that mean bulldog look. So Bob quartered it, making it wider and longer. We got it all braced up. Now the work really starts getting going.
It looks totally different.
Mm-hmm. Cutting the cab up into 4 pieces, you know, it's just a start. You know, putting all that metal back in place, you know, that's a huge job. From that to building the frame, chopping the front end up, widening it, building a full bed, painting. After all that's done, huge interior job. And and we still don't have an engine for it.
What motor are you going with on that one?
Oh man, you gotta have the Hellcat in, right?
You did decide with Hellcat?
Yeah. This truck came with an old straight 6, but that definitely won't cut it. The Hellcat's a 6.2 with over 700 horsepower stock. Way too much power for it, right? So that's just right. It's pretty much a race engine, not something you normally put in a truck. I know it's next to impossible to find a new one, right? Supply chain crap is all out of whack.
You know, we're a year out on those.
So, let's go. The next best thing is trying to find a pull out of something, late model, very low mileage, clean engine.
So we got a few feelers out, and the ones I've found so far are either, they've been in a high-speed wreck, so the whole front's mangled up. The Hellcat on it, so we got to have an actual real Hellcat.
Yeah, I want the real deal.
Got to have it. Hopefully, shouldn't be too much longer. We'll have something to fit in there.
Yeah, we're going to need something pretty quick, man, so pedal to the metal.
Yeah. You ready? Y'all have fun.
All right.
Today I'm running around town trying to locate a Hellcat motor for this Jeep Willys. Houston has so many incredible little places for parts, but you gotta know where to look. Hola, Jefe!
Hey, how you doing, brother?
What's up, my man? So I'm here at Tex-Mex today. It's a junkyard, so they have all kinds of stuff. And what some people think is junk is big money to this guy. Man, you got all kinds of motors over here.
We sure do.
You keep all kinds of good stuff, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Some of these motors just look like complete junk. They've been on fire, they're wrecked. That's a new, LT motor?
Yes, sir.
Got a little hot, huh?
Yes, a little bit.
But a lot of stuff you can just pull off, replace, and it's still fully usable.
2006 5.3 out of Chevy Pickup 4x4.
That's a good motor. That's one of the hot rod motors. Everybody's wanting the LSs. This one's not going to be here long.
Yeah, somebody already have put down.
That was already sold?
Yes, sir.
That happens. Ooh, big Cummins diesel.
Yes, sir. 5.9 diesel motor. All 5-dash pickup.
Everybody wants one. Yeah. Man, there's a lot of good stuff here that we could use, but I'm really on the hunt for that Hellcat. So if you find one low mileage, brand new in the box, any one of those, give me a shout. We'll come over, I'll grab it, and we'll get it in this project.
Back to the shop, we're getting busy on the metalwork for the Jeep. By stretching it out, we gained in between 6 and 8 inches on the body. Now Bob's gonna make it all seamless.
Okay, right now I'm trimming this piece into here. That'll be the start of this. You notice these are rounded on the ends and this is squared off. We're gonna round these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split it right here, and then we're gonna actually hand hammer it all around. Okay, we got it all hammered out. What we did here is we made the ends round, and then it'll have a nice finished edge, just like the rest of the doors do. Okay, now we got this welded in. We got the lines here rounded off, bodywork, it'll look perfect. We made an extra long piece. We're gonna use about half of it to match the contour of the cab. See how it mates up to it really nicely? But to do that, we're gonna have a problem because they don't really have a roller for doing this. So we're gonna make some special tooling. It should be pretty cool.
Okay, let's look in the junkyard. Since I opened Extensive over 2 decades ago, I hate throwing stuff away.
Probably even use a coil, but I don't want to ruin something they might use.
As a lifelong fabricator, you just never know when you can use something. So I'm definitely not surprised Bob using old parts to make a new tool for that 60s Jeep.
This is too big, huh?
No, that's perfect. We need 3 of them. We're going to use these old U-bolts here we found in the boneyard to build our tooling to bend this. What we're going to do is we're going to weld 3 of them together, and then we're going to use a rubber mallet, and that'll give us our curve. That's why it's a good idea to never throw anything away.
So I'm new here at the shop, and having an opportunity to work with a guy like Bob Grant is just amazing.
That looks pretty good. Like that.
Okay.
We're gonna weld them in like this.
So they don't teach you this kind of stuff in school, so it's really cool to learn how to do it. It takes a lot of experience and years of work to really figure it out.
so I'm having a pleasure learning it. As you can see, our tool came out pretty good. Lines up perfectly with our bend. So now it's time to put it to use.
This is a hard piece to form because there's 3 rolls we gotta do here. The edge is a little bit wavy, so I got this hammer. We're gonna fine tune it. Worked pretty good though for some old U-bolts. Okay, we got it pretty good now. Matches our pattern. Might be a little bit long on the sides here, but we'll check it out and see how it looks. The ribs here match these. What I'll do is I'll cut this out and butt weld it all. That'll finish the body line around the back and match the cab perfectly. So we got our new piece in here. That new tool really helped us out. Matches the ribs perfectly. We'll install the other side and get it all ground up. We got this corner all ground down, all the body lines match up. Next, we're gonna build some filler panels for these. Cut out our pieces and pre-fit them. And then we'll start tack welding them in there. Okay, so we got this all cut out, but when we were cutting it, I noticed there's like a good 1/2 inch of lead right here. So evidently this thing got hit pretty bad at one point. And I'm gonna cut out that area. I'll re-roll another cap piece. We noticed it kind of hit the inner structure a little bit too. Well, you kind of see all the damage here. So this whole corner is built out of lead. That's not even a real corner. Looks like I could maybe get rid of some of it just by digging it out. Maybe hammer it a little better. This piece I'll have to replace though. All lead right there. So my next step is to remake this little flange here and roll this little piece. So this is how they should have fixed it the first time. So back in the day, they used lead to repair a lot of damage on cars, and they'd put it on with wooden paddles. They'd heat it all up and put it on, and they'd use it just necessarily the right way to do it. A lot of people like using it, but I don't. It's really poisonous. It stays in your system. Actually looks pretty good. High octane, unleaded. It gets pretty exciting seeing all the pieces go back in. So it's starting to look like an actual vehicle. Yeah, it'll be all ready to go, just like factory.
I'm on the hunt for something, man, and I'm hoping you're gonna be the guy that's gonna help me out. A lot of guys will only look for parts on the internet, and I do too. I'm trying to find a late model Hellcat motor. All right, let me get his number from you. But I found as much success going old school. You know, picking up the phone, calling everybody I can think of. 75,000 miles, and it's been run to the track. Yeah, that's not really what I'm hunting for, man. I appreciate it, though. The customers, they don't care if the parts are hard to find. They just want what they want, and they want it yesterday. One was on fire. I definitely don't need that one. These Hellcat motors are race engines. A lot of times they end up destroyed, being driven too hard or crashed. Oh no, no paperwork? Yeah, let me look into this and I'll get back with you. It doesn't have paperwork, but it's still got a chunk of frame around it, so I don't know that
that sounds stolen just a little bit, right?
Well, on to the next one. We're trying.
Almost finished with those custom steps on the 22 International. So Jamie's out there putting the final pieces onto the design. We got a little filler piece in between the running board and the box, Jamie. So all we want to do is, we got this step hanging out. So let's just cut the little end of it off, give it a little nice little gradual step into the filler.
Yeah, that's definitely what it needs. We could have just capped this and been done with it, but we took the extra step, a lot of cutting, bending, folding, to go ahead and add this cap to tie in, and then we're going to add this piece to tie into that. It's all the things you really don't see that takes the time, but when it's all together, it looks like it's supposed to. could have just left the box alone and not added this piece, but I'm going to see this truck every day, and it's going to ring over and over in my head. I could have done that. I should have my other piece right here. Getting a little freedom to do kind of what I want to. You know, I'm really happy with it. Bill's definitely got the confidence in me to take care of this by myself. There we go. I'm happy with it. Bill's going to love it. I'm going to be able to look at that and be proud of it. Birds are chirping, dogs are barking, metal's flying. Fixing to weld some stuff.
The 22 International is going to be our new record that'll represent the shop. So of course it needs to fit the part. So I'm thinking a meaner bumper that'll give it the right look.
So with everything that we're customizing on the truck, you know, this bumper right here really stands out. It's too short, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and splice it, add my 6 inches in between, give it that nice aggressive look from the front so it matches the rest of the truck. I'm going to do this in 3 pieces. My middle section first, stick this in the roller. Let's give it a little shape. Now you can see it's got a little curve to it. That's going to be way too pitched forward. The bumper be touching the wheels, probably even pitched down. Edge a little bit right here, stand it back just a little bit more till I'm happy, so I can get that perfect pitch where it's flat instead of just tucking down. Oh, you see me running my hand across it like this. Basically, I'm seeing if my fingernail grabs it. If my fingernail grabs it, I know it's too high. If it's just a smooth transition on my fingernail, I know that's right where I need to be. Then we'll go ahead and start on the sides. Gonna roll out. And that's tricky here. You know, it's not like the middle piece. I have a radius going this way, so I need to trim this piece off because I don't want it being short on this end. I still want the same distance so the bumper's even all the way down. The bumper's forming up real quick. I like the shape. Go ahead and start tacking in, walk it all the way down. Once I get this side, duplicate it, do the other side, trim it. Next, we're gonna be adding this piece. Now this is my center mark right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure between these holes. Find my center. Bang, bang, boom. We're gonna tack it. I'm going back and forth because I don't want any of these ends, you know, they're loose, you know. I'm clear right there. I'm not over, I'm not under. I'm making sure I'm consistently even all the way across. Once I get it all tacked in, then I can come back and start filling in between my tacks. As you can see, I got the bumper stretched now. It was a lot of work, but final product, man, this thing's sharp. It's gonna look good on that truck.
Max is great at what he does. You give him something to do, consider it done. And wouldn't you know, you found that Hellcat for the 60s Willys Jeep.
I got a buzz online that Buddy Lynn, who's like a local car collector, he's got one. So I'm over here now to see if we can make a deal and get this thing.
Man, finally got you out of here.
Yeah, how are you?
Man.
You got a couple cars out today, don't you?
Pick your poison. What you thinking?
Wow. I've always heard Lynn was a little bit of a car collector, but I didn't know that it was to this extent. You got a little bit of everything.
Got my baby right here, the Demon, baby. We did a lot of modifications to it.
Awesome.
You know, top end, bottom end pulleys, you know.
She's full go fast.
She full go fast.
This guy's got Jeeps on tracks. He's got a side-by-side rat rods.
And your boy over here did this as well, Justin.
Real nice. I think he's got a little bit of everything. Is that a big wheel track?
She did that for my wife for Mother's Day, man. You know, one of a kind.
She got good taste.
She's happy, I'm happy.
That's all about
I get to buy what I want to buy as long as she gets it.
You're right. Speaking of buying, you got a motor I'm looking for.
We got a little something over here for you. You've been waiting on, man.
Let's go check it out.
We got it. Let's roll. Being in the car game, you know, you come across everything and everybody that wants to buy certain things. And I happen to have a 2019 Red Eye Motor and Trans. Yeah, there she is, the golden girl. What you been wanting, baby?
That's exactly what I've been hunting for.
She ain't missing nothing, baby. Wild Hornets, the old Capone HP2. She has a little cam work pulley system. Top end of it's done. You know, whole 9 yards.
Red Eye.
There we go, baby. That's her.
Just putting down, what, 11?
11, 1175. Like I said, by the time you get done with it, 1200. You know how that goes.
It's got a whole bunch of oomph in it. Whole bunch. How many miles do you think's on it?
Give or take 25, 35.
Perfect.
Right up in there. Now, my question is, what is this going in?
It's going in a 1960 Jeep Willys.
Wow. Wow. That little bitty Jeep truck for this hump. That Willie's going to do a Willie. I would love to see that, though.
I appreciate you holding on to it, because I know if I didn't show up and get it,
somebody was on the way.
I guarantee
told me to be here in 20 minutes. If you ain't come, I promise you they was coming through that gate.
Well, let's get it loaded up, man. I'll get out your hair.
It's all love, baby.
I appreciate you, man.
All right.
That is exactly what we were looking for. This one showed up that just weren't up to what we were looking for, because either it was in a wreck or, it's just been beat to death because it's a race car motor. But luckily, this one looks really well taken care of, and that's a little bit less pressure on this build now that we found the heartbeat.
We got one more piece to fill in the 60s Willys. It's also the biggest piece, that roof. Wouldn't you know, our old parts coming into use again.
Does that look like a top to 59 Caddy to you?
Yeah, it sure does, doesn't it?
That's the one Bill said we could use, Soft Slim Tug's car.
Cool, let's do it.
We left a little bit extra on the sides just in case, because it's better to have it a little bit too long that we can trim it to fit. So let's see if it comes off here. Alrighty.
We're gonna take the roof skin over here, put it up top. So it looks like we're gonna cut it about 10 inches. Just a little bit better way to do it, because you're not welding so much in the middle of the skin, because it always wants to sag. And under there with the dolly, and it just takes forever. It's doable, but it's kind of a waste of time. Looks better already, huh? I know this looks crazy and bad right now, but once we get it all cut out and trimmed up, it's gonna look perfect. Let's see how. It fits perfect. That's just the way it goes, huh? Man, this turned out good. It looks all in proportion. It's lengthened, it's widened. I mean, it's everything they asked me to do. This thing's gonna be really, really cool when it's all finished.
Bob killed it on the metalwork on the 60s Jeep. Juan and the body guys, they got after it as well. And now the Jeep body looked like it rolled off the Willys assembly line back in 1960. Well done. Man, I love it, man. I love seeing it in this state compared to what it was a couple weeks back. Chopped up in many, many pieces. You guys killed it, man. Seeing the cab in this state just gets everybody excited in the shop and gets those creative juices flowing. So much work has been done to this already. We got many, many, many man hours, but we're just really getting started. Oh yeah. Just getting the front end where it needs to be. That's a whole nother project in itself. We're gonna build the whole frame, build all the suspension, then put the engine, then put the trans, then build the firewall, building the whole handmade bed for it. This is such a daunting project. We got a long way to go, man. Oh yeah. All right, man, it's all yours. You know, if you're not from Houston, you may not know it can get really cold in the winter. And today, it's going to be freezing. So we're trying to make room to fit that big old International inside, where we can make the custom toolboxes. You know, the Pylon that was on it was cool. It's good looking for most wreckers, but in this case, you know, I want something a little more box. One of the major challenges in this is getting the look right, because you can just build a box, put it on, and just totally ruin the look of the truck. We got a piece of aluminum square tubing soapstone on it, and I'm just going to trace around the cab so it goes along with the rest of the truck.
The soapstone lines are good, but a lot of times they're real hard to see once you got a saw right on it. So I'm just gonna lay me down some fine line tape right on the line so you get a better visual of where you're cutting. A little bit of this soap helps the aluminum from sticking to the blade, clogging it up. Helps lubricate it, keeps it from sticking. Our secret cutting saws. Be available soon on the web store. Now we got the first piece all cut out. And we're gonna get another full sheet and lay it across the back. Now we need the magic stick. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna trace this edge off the cab, but off of this to get that back piece the same shape as this. The reason for that is the back one's gonna be an angle, so it's not gonna be exactly the same as this. It's gonna be a little taller.
You got it so it lines up?
I hope so.
Good shape though, it fits the cab really good.
And we're making some headway right now. We got the back part of the wall in, and we're starting to build from the back wall out. So it's a lot easier to do that other than building a box and then putting shelving in. So put the shelves in, and then we'll just keep on building from there all the way out. Just doing the quick layout of the door spacing right there. And we're about to cut out the door openings, and we want to make that 100% right and true. We get one shot at it, unless you want to buy some more metal. 8-inch aluminum isn't very cheap.
Made me a template with some chipboard of that wraparound that comes from the top down to the side. Majority of our lines are straight, so what I'm gonna do is cut most of it I can with the straight edge, and then all the curves I'll go back with a jigsaw. That fits really, really well. Take this off and I guess put it on the floor over there. It's a little heavy. Start building these doors. We got all the door frames welded in place, sanded and smooth. All I need is this measurement here. So our door is going to be about 21.5 inches. We got to overcut it about 3/4 of an inch on each side and top and bottom. That way we can cut the corners out, break each side, and it'll give us a partial box. Makes the door stronger, it won't flex as much, and you know it'll tuck inside this frame that we built here. Now all we need is a little handle right here to lock it, keep it from opening up while you're driving. Kind of hard to believe this all started off on just flat sheets of aluminum.
There's an old saying, time to lean, time to clean. I'm never not working. The best way to prove that you're a hard worker to everybody is to pick up a broom and start sweeping when nobody even asks you to. I feel like a lot of cats my age think that they're going to start running a company at the age of 23, which is not always is the case. You know, you have to start somewhere and work your way up. You got to do the grunt work and you got to earn it. It all boils down to work ethic. You know, and you get more opportunity to move up. My love of cars started when I was maybe in middle school. My father had a really nice looking truck that he bought one time, and since that day I've always kind of wanted something custom of my own. It's nice to have something that not everybody else has, but something that at the same time says a little bit of something about you. So I decided to go to a trade school, and that's what really kick-started everything for me. Extensive stood out to me just because of the crazy amount of detail that goes into all these cars. I knew I wanted to be a part of that. I'm learning more and more every day, and this is going to bring me right where I need to be.
Parts we made for the 22 International are coming together. John finished the toolbox. We had it all color matched, and it looks great. And to top it all off, we're adding over 100 LED lights.
You know, Bill wanted a ridiculous amount of lights on this truck, and exactly what we're doing. You think you got enough lights on it? Put about 100 more.
So this is the most wiring I've ever put in a vehicle. I know we have a couple thousand feet of wire in this thing, and all of those right here.
We spent a ton of time on this record so far, and I've been wanting to show off what we did. our show. I told him, man, I got you. I'll pick up Blue Thunder on our brand new record, and we'll all go together.
Look who's showing up already. Oh, Lord, look at this thing, man. Look at that bumper. Those lights, man.
Whoa, look at those toolboxes.
Damn. You did your thing here.
What you think, man?
Man, that's gorgeous.
That's not the same truck that we just built?
It don't look like it anymore, right? You guys are phenomenal in doing what you're doing, but, just had to take it to the extensive level,
We make sure that it works good, you make sure it looks good.
Yeah. You never really know how someone's going to take it when you take their work and work on it from there. But, these guys really appreciate what we do.
Look at this, man. Oh.
To have someone like Ryan admire the work that you do, that's a high honor.
Man, look at that. All the lights on the motors and everything, it looks really great.
One of the first things I wanted to do is fill in that big void where the batteries were, the gas tank. You already have the toolboxes in the right spot. Tenuous box pretty much from the front wheel all the way back to the back. And of course we had to split the bumper and make it lower too. So it just looks a lot meaner when it's coming down the road at you.
It's beautiful with the stretch and the molding in there and color match.
I wanted to get rid of all the chrome and just make it all look the same all the way front, all the way to the back.
Man, it looks wonderful. We built a lot of records, like a lot, but nothing like this one. This one is like gorgeous.
Oh, what you doing my pylon, man?
Had to change up a little bit. Hey, it was cool. But I was envisioning something just to totally cover up the back of the cab. I'd like a little more extra storage. So, we built the toolbox to match, the body itself.
You built that by hand?
That's all handmade in the shop, man. Every bit of it.
I think I need to order like 12 of them from you, man.
We can make that happen.
That toolbox setup really flowed together, and for functionality, it's really, really perfect for the truck.
Once that was all built, we just had to finish it back up, put the light bar back on the top, so it's a legit tow truck now. Speaking of, you ready to get Blue Thunder loaded up?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Everybody at the shop kills it. I mean, working late, but, a team comes together, cool stuff comes about. I'm ready to get to the show off the new record, show off Blue Thunder, show the world.
Cut $10,000 off this truck.
Oh, you didn't just bring more wiring over here.
Size-wise, this 2019 Polaris is a small vehicle for us, but it's got some big issues. Heck, having this thing, man, this thing was in a tornado. Anything we can do to help you, man, and help your granddaughter, we're in.
If this ain't hooked up correctly, nothing's gonna work.
Oh, no way!
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
What better way to have a little family bonding than having your kids help you cut up a car? And before I send this thing off to get scrapped, I figured I'd give my kids a little lesson on how to use some tools and cut some metal.
I've never really used tools like this. It's not that bad except for it's just pumping my arms out, but that's alright. It's a good workout, and I really like working out, so I guess it's fine.
Couple little more pieces, the whole roof's gonna be off. Go out on your side. Got it? Yep. What do you think?
Heck.
Fresh convertible?
Yes.
It's a good family day. We cut up the car, and so now we're just gonna have some fun.
Test it out.
Yeah.
Hey, where's Cleve at? Cleve!
parking lot. You know, maybe $1 million or so. You know, but this is Cleve's first, and he seemed really happy to be here. Seeing this thing in a stage like this, it finally feels like this thing's coming together. You know, after being so long just a cab on the lift, feels like we're getting some things done. It's been a lot of hard work. You got that right. I mean, just getting this thing apart's a lot of hard work. Yeah. We're months into making this 2020 Denali 3500, one of the first ever body drop in the world. The owner wants to haul some of his other show cars with it to SEMA. So we had to put more engineering into this thing to make it perform even better than he wants. With a body back on the frame, it looks like we're almost done, but I can tell you, we're a long ways away.
Oh, Lord, are you guys trying to pull a house or something? That's serious.
Damn right it is. I mean, this transfers all the weight from a trailer. Sometimes it could be 20, 30,000 pounds of stopping and starting. Goes to this right here.
So we can put a house on there.
Absolutely. Just from the start of this, get it on the lift and tearing it apart was a major job. You know, laying the chassis out, building the chassis on the table, getting the frame underneath this, you know, rear suspension, just to get to this stage is huge amount of labor.
I know.
This is not just double work or triple work. It's not even quadruple. What's after quadruple?
A lot.
The finishing work on a build like this is always the hardest part. It's a huge build, but the small details, they take a lot of time. Now that we got the foundation, we can build the front suspension and huge wheel tubs to tuck those big old 28-inch wheels. Color match the frame and plastics, create a fully articulating speaker system in the bed, and finding space to put everything back together under the body. And that's rewiring, reconnecting, rebuilding, making this truck 100% brand new again, just like it is.
We got a lot of work done, but there's still a whole lot of work to do and a whole lot of parts to order. So let's get to it.
Let's get it.
This stage of the build, it's all about making room underneath the body to cram everything back in. So Tim and John are getting started to making room for these big old wheels.
The name of the game is the bigger the wheels, the lower to the ground. And you know as well as I know.
Most important thing,
the brake
system.
We're not going to cut the factory fender tabs off. We're going to use those to line everything back up. That way it'll look factory from the outside, and it'll keep all the factory gaps exactly the same. We're going to build back a support with some DOM. We need something that's going to keep all these tabs 100% where they're at and keep this where it's at. Because then the fender will bolt right back up here, and all this will gap back perfect, the hood will shut perfect, everything will stay right.
You know, I've seen a lot of custom builds where they made something look good, but later on down the road, it just didn't hold up. Yeah, so we got to fit it down now. We got to have form and function, stability. What good is a cool car if you can't drive it down the road safely? Pretty damn good.
That's going to work. That clears the hinge, clears the hood, supports that.
Clears a gas shock too, so we don't have to mess with that.
I think everything's going to be perfect.
I'm welding the fender tabs right to the support to keep everything in line. Now we got our new support in there, we can remove all of this to get our new big wheel in there. There you go. Starting to see this thing getting put together and starting to look like a whole truck again.
You see the door gap, it all lines back up perfect. We don't even have to sit there and try to make the fender mounts.
Yep, and it's looking real good.
While Tim and John are making good progress on the 2020 Denali's front end, I'm going to get started making articulating speaker brackets for the bed. You know, just having a drop dually, big wheels all the way on the ground just isn't enough. You just got to have that little bit more. So we're going to make a speaker bracket that mounts 4 speakers in the bed and articulates up. So when he's parked, he can actually raise it up and the sound projects over the bed and out to everywhere.
I took a couple of quick measurements off the bed with the bed cover, with the wheel wells, and made a quick drawing on the table so I know exactly what kind of room we have to work with, and we'll come up with some kind of mount that's going to be cool. Just a lot of figuring out to do. You know, there's a lot of pivot points, a lot of measuring. We'll see what happens. We need to make one a little shorter to maybe kick it up a little bit or kick it down a little bit. You can play with all those little angles, all those little pivot points to make the speaker do whatever you want to with it. So once we make them act right, we can duplicate that in bars and pipe and bushings.
Man, that's something to start out, but having some articulation like this where it actually moves and it's got function to it, man, that's that next step.
I'm using the measurements from the rods and bolts to make the final articulating arms for the speakers.
We'll have something like that.
I want these things quick, so Max and Jesse are going to weld these things out, all while me and Jamie are going to make the frame to hold all these mounts to the bed. You know, it's one thing to lay it out on the table and make little bitty mounts and get it in your head, okay, it's going to work, but when you actually convert that over to the bracketry and drill holes and spend time making all the pivot points right, the little bars right, you put it all together, you know, there is some question there if it's really going to work. So right now we're going to put it together and actually see if it's going to do what we need to do.
Man, you just have that in your head, just popped it out?
I mean, figure it out till it works, see what works.
Speaker about here, you know, facing out, then coming out over the bed. It's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like really cool.
We finished fabric, going to make room for it in the bed.
All right, now we're to the point we need to put this bed on the new frame. But as you can see, the notch of the frame and the gooseneck hitch is going to stick through the bed. So what I'm going to do right now is just cut a hole out in this bed floor so I can get it on there, and then we'll go back and figure out how we're going to fill this back in. When this truck's laid out all the way on the ground, you'll be able to walk up, look in the bed, and the gooseneck hitch and the bag mounts are going to show through the bed floor. And you get to appreciate all the work that went into this frame, which for me is a nice change. A lot of times we'll do all this, and it simply gets covered up. All right, now we have a hole.
I'm about to cut $10,000 off this truck. We gotta remove all this, because once that truck lays down on the floor, we need room for that big tire to reach all the way up here. Now we get all this out the way, now we got plenty of room for these big wheels and tires.
Which means it's got 4 wheels in the back. So that means we need to make even larger wheel tubs in the bed to fit those 28-inch tires.
This is how we roll our sheet metal to get the same radius as our wheel tub. And we need a little bit more. So the tub has to be extra wide to accommodate both dually wheels on the back of this truck. So what we're going to do is butt weld the new piece to the old piece, and what that is fitting them tightly together on edge and welding right along the crease. Just to let you know, welding around magnets sucks. These magnets hold the piece of the metal together while I weld, which is good, but because the welder uses a metal wire, that same magnet disrupts the arc connection. So it can be a little tricky. Welding is nearly impossible.
John officiated the marriage of these two pieces of metal. Relationships have ups and downs and bumps. So me, I'm a marriage counselor. I'm gonna smooth this out.
You on fire today?
Things got a little smoky around here.
see you, man.
In the custom car business, it's always good to get those repeat customers. We worked on Doug's 48 GMC truck years ago. Good to see you, man. What are we doing at this thing?
Well, we're not doing anything to the truck. We're going to focus on the most important thing. That's my granddaughter's Polaris. This.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, I know it don't look like a Polaris today, but it used to. Her house was hit by a tornado on Easter Sunday, an EF4 tornado in South Mississippi. They lost everything. Destroyed the house, destroyed everything, lost all of her toys, clothes, and she lost her Polaris. And this was the most important thing that she was looking for after the tornado. So we've got to get it fixed. The tornado hit my daughter's house with our 3 grandchildren in it. Scared me and my wife to death. We were here in Houston. She called us right before it happened. And then it was 15, 20 minutes before she called us back and told us they were okay. Very scary moment. When everything was done, and this was the first thing she went to looking for. And it was 250 yards away. And you can tell that it may have barrel rolled once. So that's why this Polaris is so important.
You know, we customized a lot of vehicles in all different stages of the customization, but never one that's been through a tornado. I don't know if there's really much hope for this thing, but we're definitely going to see what we can do. I think the first thing we need to do is actually get this thing down and really see what we got to do. You know, get that frame back straight. I know there's probably going to be some frame issues, and put new plastics on it, make sure that all bolts back together right. And I think instead of just bolting the factory cage back on, just build something cool for her. Make it so she's, you know, not only looking cool, but safe also.
Absolutely. She loves this thing, and whatever you do is going to make it that much better, Bill.
Yeah, this thing's going to be cool. You know, this isn't a normal project we do around here. You know, but being so close to the Gulf, we know all about what those storms can do. Anything we can do to help you, man, and help your granddaughter, you know we're in.
Man, I appreciate you, Bill. That's why I come to see you.
You know, a job like this is what I would normally turn away. But, you know, when an old friend brings it in and it has such a heartwarming story, you don't have any choice but to help out. Looking at this after it's been in a storm the way it has, and just seeing the steel being mangled and rolled over, but it just shows you how much power the wind has. Then I'm just happy no one was hurt in that. I'm going to pull this into the shop, and everybody's going to go, what are you doing? What's this here for? But once they hear the story and they hear who it's for, I know they're going to be all in. By the time we get a small project, right?
The heck happened to this thing? It looks like somebody jumped it.
Man, this thing was in a tornado. The wind did this. Chunked this thing a quarter mile. You know, it's Doug's granddaughter. She just cherished this thing. This was her favorite thing to have, right? And they lost their house. They lost everything. So we need to bring this thing back to life. What I want to do is get it in the shop so we got a nice level surface. Let's take off all the plastics and, you know, skirting on this thing to see what's bent and what's straight.
Yeah, I'm sure once you get all this off, all kind of stuff's going to be...
Yeah, I'm definitely afraid of that, but it ain't something we can't handle for sure. Now, once we get everything back straight, I want to go back with new plastics, bumpers, front and rear. And we'll probably wrap the new plastics too to not have the
everybody else look.
Exactly. If we're going to do it, we might as well make it special for it. We'll put doors on this thing, to get rid of that. It's not as safe as doors on this thing. We'll top it off with some lighting, and she had speakers underneath here, but we'll add some cool ones to it. Once we get all the bottom of this thing all nice and straight, we'll go back with a custom cage, just a one-off, and we'll make the roof a little longer, stronger, meaner, and a lot cooler looking.
It's really cool to do this back for her and make it all back to something she really enjoyed. It's going to be better than Christmas for her.
Be nice to be a part of that, right?
Yeah.
Doug's definitely going to be Grandpa of the Year.
I might adopt him as my grandpa.
Keegan and Joey are going to tear this down so I can see what shape the chassis is in.
Have you ever had one of these in here, kid?
Not something like this big, but maybe a little small, like a little tiny 4x4.
Little small one?
Yeah, ride around every once in a while.
Good?
Yeah.
Good over there? Ready to go up.
Tweak to the rear of the frame on the little side-by-side. So what I'm going to use is the Porta Power here. It's basically a slender jack. So You put the little pieces together till it fits into place. Put it in between the frame and the bent part of the frame. Jack it up perfectly straight when I'm done. Double check the level real quick on that.
It's riding the line a little bit, but it's still in between the lines.
But we want it on the money.
Well, it's off. It needs to come up on this one.
This one? Up?
Yes. Come on up, 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 up. Right there.
You know, being thrown through the air like it was, this frame is in better shape than I thought it was going to be. Check it right here. But even small bends to it can have huge consequences.
It's kind of wobbly on that thing.
So our first step, we need to straighten it up.
Go up on it?
Yeah. Go up, Mo. Up. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second. Let's get a long piece of tubing and stick right here. We went just a little too far, so we can give it a little tweak.
Okay.
You know, so we're jacking it up, push a little bit. So you got to push it up just past level, so when the tension releases, it comes back level, right? Well, we went just a little bit too far, so we're just gonna take a big bar, twist that sucker again, and make it perfect. Man, do that one more time. I think you got it. Perfect. Size-wise, this 20, but because the tornado literally threw it a quarter of a mile, it's got some big issues. You know, Jamie fixed the axles, we straightened the frame, so now we can put on new plastics and doors.
All right, Jamie, I think we're ready for the door, man.
Well, let's see what happens.
Try to get the other door on.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Hey, Bill.
Huh?
Everything's in. Man, it's how much further than it's supposed to be.
To the center of that hole.
That one ain't in the same shape.
That's 32 and an 8. Yeah, it's been a little bit.
It's got a belly.
Typical job, you know, you thought was cut and dry. Okay, this is bent, let's fix it. Done. Everything should line up, right? Well, that's not the way it works. Start putting the doors on it, notice, whoa, this doors overlaps the body by an inch. So trying to just bend it back an inch is going to be pretty difficult.
Where do we even start to pull it?
Let's get this thing off of here, get it loaded up on the back of the wrecker. Okay. We'll strap it down and see if we can pull it with the winch.
Cool.
Tilt forward. We got the front and the back of the frame are still tweaked. So we're going to use the wrecker and the winch to stretch the body, all while keeping the integrity of the frame. It's the only tool I can think of. We can pull at multiple points at one time and still hold everything from the back and strap it down to the wrecker. So we'll see what happens. Here, come do this real quick. Let me look at it.
Okay. Ready?
I'll tell you when to stop. Just as easy as you possibly can.
All right.
Okay, do it again. All right. Cut off. All right. You know, the wrecker and the winch definitely done its job. Door's got plenty of room now. We definitely tweaked it, moved it forward. You know, the next thing is getting everything back nice and level so it all lines up. And everything will be on the money. Over on the other side of the shop, Tim and John are finishing up the extra large wheel tubs on that 2020 Denali.
Now we got a completed extended rear tub. Now I can get this placed in the bed, clamped with a straight edge across the top, and get it tacked in place. That fits nicely. I like it. Place. Now we can weld these things fully and get ready to move on to capping these edges and putting the bed back on the truck.
We have the tubs made here. Now we need to make the filler go down to here. Something to keep the dirt out of there, the mud, the water coming out all the way. This will really just enclose the wheels and it adds strength and structure to the tub. So we're going to tack it, when we come back and grind it, it'll all look like one piece, like it wasn't made out of three pieces. This whole tub will look like a one piece you just set in here.
Because the Denali needs to look like a show truck and perform like a work truck, we need to build a massive set of control arms to keep all that weight going straight down the road.
Building control arms for a bigger truck You want to have a stronger arm than your typical square body or regular half-ton pickup truck. That's why we use thicker material, bigger, better ball joints to be able to accommodate not only the weight of the vehicle, but the weight that's actually attached to the back of it as well.
Let's go ahead and throw the wheel on. Just to make sure when it pushes out, we're not hitting here. We clear everything. See what it looks like laid out too.
Yeah. The top of this bar is going to rip that seat. That represents our suspension being bottomed out completely, which in turn means the truck laid out all the way on the floor.
Man, you think it looks good in there? You got to see it from out here. It ate up half that wheel, put it all the way in there. It looks good. It looks real good.
Does it look as good as me?
We sent the chassis off to powder coat. Now we can get to reconnecting, which is probably miles of wire, back into a space that's way more limited.
So when we first got started with this truck, hooking all of this, that was easy. Very easy. But going back and putting it all in, laying all the harnesses out, that's really, really not fun. Oh, you didn't just bring more wiring over here. I was starting to feel good until I seen you walk over with that. Was that heavy?
A little bit. Now I know why this is a 1-ton.
Needed a 1-ton just to hold up all the harness.
Yeah. You got this, buddy.
We're going to have to get that box to fit through there.
We got to get all these wires, all these sensors, everything plugged back. Almost everything works on a loop, where if this isn't connected, half the truck on that side won't work. If something's not connected, a little sensor in the back, this might not work, that might not work. So everything has to be plugged in. This is factory, so the computer doesn't throw any codes or act like there's a problem anywhere.
Custom frame for the 2020 Denali is back from powder coat. The white is going to match perfect with the body.
You know, the powder makes a really, really nice coating on it, and it gets in every crack and crevice. From the raw steel, raw tubing, raw pipe, to this, it's come a long ways. It looks totally different once you get some color on it.
Definitely, looks real good.
The fact that it's color matched to the truck, it didn't look like you just took some frame and put anything. You know that frame goes to that truck on those wheels. Everything unloaded, everything's situated on the table. We can start assembling the frame, put the motor or transmission on it, roll it underneath the body, and put the body down. And it's gonna look good. The big billet wheels on it, going down the road.
Tornado damage on the 2019 Polaris. Now Jamie and I are gonna build a custom cage from scratch. You know, the tornado definitely threw this thing for many loops, but you know, we got this thing back where it needs to be. The next step is building the cage. So once the cage is built, tied into the framework of the little side-by-side, everything is going to be super strong and not bend or give. It's going to hold everything perfectly level and straight. So what I'm going to do first is just start bending some pipe up, get the angles right, and kind of step back and look at it, see what feels right, and just keep building upon that. Send it over here. Jump to the forward, please. What I want to do is build a sporty custom cage. We obviously have to replace what's missing. So if we're going to do that, I want to make something, you know, a little bit lower profile, stretch it a little bit. Instead of just buying a new one online, you know, that's what we do. We build custom things. So not only, you know, put some safety back in it, some rigidity back in it, but put some custom coolness back in it too. I like the way how everything flows, man. It looks good, and it's super strong too. She's gonna be happy.
Definitely looks real good together.
My kids are gonna be so jealous.
Oh, we gotta build another
one. Man, it's come a long way since this little side-by-side was tossed by the tornado. Jamie's making a custom aluminum roof.
That fits nice. We're happy with that.
And we had a custom wrap made for it. We're adding in a brand new stereo system and some light bars. I can't wait for Doug's granddaughter to see this thing now.
excited. You know, we finally got this project done. Today's the day we're going to give it back to some special little girl. You know, typically I would usually turn a project away like this, but, you know, considering it's for Doug and what it means to Doug and his family, you know, I can't not help out on this.
What's going on, Bill? Man, good to see you.
How you doing, man?
This is my granddaughter, McKinley.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
I heard a lot about you. Grandpa's pretty proud of you.
That's right.
Your grandpa was telling me you were in a little scary little incident a while back. Tell me what happened.
There was a tornado.
You were in the tornado? Was that scary?
Yeah.
Man, I bet it was. Not only your house was totally gone, there was something you really loved was gone too, right? What was that?
My buggy.
The wind took it way far away?
Down to our pond.
In the pond? It was messed up bad, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Her buggy was only 6 months old, so I knew I had to bring it here to get it fixed. It meant a lot to her. Now it's time to see what Bill and the boys have done.
I tell you what, we got you fixed up. Grandpa got you fixed up. You ready to check it out?
Yeah.
I bet you are. I bet you ready to ride.
You ready to ride?
Yeah. Let's check it out.
Let's see it. Holy cow, look at that, McKinley. Man, that is awesome, Bill. Look at that. What do you think?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah.
Golly. Wow. Bill, that don't even look like the same buggy.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, that's a good thing. Man.
Last time you seen it was a little squished, huh?
Yeah. When the buggy came out, I was so excited to see it. Let's just say I was speechless.
Man, that thing looks great, Bill. Tell me what all y'all did.
Well, you seen the parts we had to work with, right?
Yeah, I did.
Once we put it on the lift, we started dismantling it. We really noticed the frame was hurt a lot more than originally thought.
Yeah.
You know, the plastics and everything were hiding a lot of damage underneath there. It had to replace the rear axle, replaced all the plastics. So we put new bumpers on it. And of course, it didn't have...
What's that on the door?
A tornado.
A tornado?
Had Pixelworks come over and they custom wrapped it. They designed this wrap for you.
For you. You know how we know it's just for you? It's got Doodle on the door.
Hey, where'd you get the name Doodle?
Popsy gave it to me.
Popsy gave it to you? That's awesome.
Man, it looks great, Bill. It really does.
Build a whole new cage. We made all that in-house. Instead of buying, you know, just a replacement, we made it a little bit shorter and a little bit more laid back. Give it a little more cool look, sleek look. Made a new roof for it, made it a little bit longer. We made it all out of aluminum. Went back with lighting, you know, had to put the stereo back in it. And we put some little antennas on the back with lights in them.
That's all. What do you say?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Doug, I know this is special for you, and it's special for us.
Man, that's nice, isn't it?
Thank you for letting us be a part of this very special project. Side of the shop, the guys are making good progress on the rolling chassis. And now it's the moment of truth. 4
links to the axle, hook the airbags up, and then we'll be able to run all the brake lines, the brake calipers, put the front wheels on, we can air it up and roll it out. But we have to put all the wiring on there, all the modules, the DEF, all that's going back on. So the whole thing will be hooked back up like it was factory. Now it's just the tedious part of just putting it all back together.
This 2020 Denali wants this low and loud. We got the low taken care of. Now to make it loud by finishing up the articulating speakers. I got the hard part done. I got the lifting part that's going to lift the speakers over the bed. You know, the next step to all this is making it motorized. So I'm going to put an actuator on the back to lift this up, but I'm going to try to do it with just one actuator and trying to make it lift evenly. That's another little trick too. So once that's all set up, put 12 volts to it, it should lift these speakers right up over the bed. It's pretty dang close. You know, the whole object of this whole bracketry is pushing a button and having the speakers come out of the bed just whole overall project, right? What I'm going to do is cut out a piece of 2x2 square tubing to make a bracket for the lower part of the actuator. Affix it to the whole bracket, push a button, and it lifts up. We got all our little pieces cut. We got everything mocked up. The next step is putting some power to it and see if this actually works. You know, everything we build, you know, you have a general idea. Once you have the idea, then you start building plans. The main thing is just having the creativity of having the idea. That's a huge hurdle. Once you have that, it's just using your skills, using your tools, and just making it happen. Pretty cool.
Everything back from powder coat. We've got all the front suspension on, the rear suspension's on, brake lines are ran, fuel lines are ran. We're at the exciting point now. We can finally marry this cab to this chassis. It's like you do everything, and here's the keys to the new house. Now you can move in.
Is that in?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Just trying to line up here to line up this bolt with this hole. There we go, straight down. It makes it much easier. Plus the motor's so tight, the transmission's so tight that you don't have a lot of room side to side. All right, ready?
Yeah.
So we put it down. It's a little bit too far off. We'll hit the body. We could hit a module. Could hit something else. So we're taking a little bit of time. Line this up. Drop the whole thing down, and everything should clear. How's the radiator look?
We're getting close.
Watch your fingers. We married the cab to the chassis. We're about to do the bed to the chassis. All right, we gotta watch this bar when we set this down. We can't scratch it.
Down, 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 down.
Go forward, down. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Good job, guys.
And now you can see the bed on the truck. You see all the notch coming through that's gonna hold the gooseneck. All that white shining through the black bed liner just stands out and pops really nice.
Now we got about 40% of the wiring done. This thing got so much electrical going on. It's about a full day of work just messing with wiring. This is the main fuse box to the whole vehicle. If this ain't hooked up correctly, it needs to be sent. I should only go on one way. See that little green thing pop up? That means it's connected and tight. The plug from the bottom is seated properly to the pins at the bottom of this fuse panel.
Man, we're at the final stages of getting this truck off the lift and on the ground. Seems like we've been doing wiring for 4 days now.
I'm so sick of seeing wires. Most of them are plugged in. Only a few left that are really giving me a hard time. There is just a ton of wiring and connectors that gotta get crammed in the areas and tied down. Oh man, so much stuff.
On big builds like this, it's super satisfying to see it all come together at the end. 28-inch wheels, speakers attached to articulating arms in the bed. We're ready to show this to the world.
I don't know about you guys, but I've been here 7 years now.
I've been here 7 years also.
Oh yeah, we sure have, huh?
This year will be 12 years.
That's 12 too many.
You know, it's like anything, when you start here, you know, Bill has his own way of doing it, and then you start seeing a new helper show up. He starts doing it some other way, and you're like, maybe the way Bill's gonna want it.
Yeah, so you gotta pass it on. Everything will roll along a lot smoother doing it the way we've done it.
It's definitely easier, you know, that we work together so much that we already know how this other person works. You know, I know what you're gonna do, I know how you're gonna do it, and I can pick up right where y'all left off.
We just practically became mind readers. We know what each other's we know what each other's doing and how to continue.
Pretty sure I spend more time here than home.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can guarantee you I've opened that gate and shut that gate more than Bill himself.
You're right about that.
The big day for the 2020 Denali is finally here, and JD
JD drove all the way down from Kansas City to see what we've been up to. What's up, man?
What's going on, Bill? Good to see you again.
Dang, good to see you, man. It's a great day, huh?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Great day to pick up a dually.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I heard you got a little car collection yourself.
Yeah, I do. I got quite a few lifted trucks, a few hot rods.
But never anything lowered.
Yeah, nothing slammed.
You know, what finally clicked and said, I gotta have a lowered dually?
I heard it was the world's first. I had to do it. Nothing better than a lowered dually. The reason why I wanted a lowered truck this time is just pulling up to shows, being able to slam it down to the ground, watch people's, response. Just something different than the lifted truck scene that's been going on the last few years.
I love lifted trucks, but, close to my heart is lowered trucks, and especially lowered dualies.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
You ready to check it out?
I am.
All right, come on, Timmy. Let's check it out.
Oh, no way. No way. Oh. Yeah, you guys knocked this out of the park. Yes. Yes. Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there. Yes. Hey, I wanted it low. You got it low for me. Yeah, that looks good. The white frame, color matched everything, sitting on the ground. This is beyond my expectations. I can't believe it.
What you think?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, you guys did an amazing job. It's awesome.
Thank you, man. I mean, Timmy, John, they got down on this, as always. Well, how we had to start is picked it up on the lift and just started unbolting and unbolting and unbolting. Once that was all done, rolled it out and just got busy. Built the suspension, the air suspension on it, to building super strong control arms, to a big, heavy-duty 4-link for the rear. I mean, this is one of the biggest, strongest frames we've ever built here. I mean, it is overkill.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what you want. That peace of mind when you're going down the road, you want to know that everything is 100% strong and built the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, you guys did it. So it's absolutely amazing what these guys can do. Can take a brand new 2020 truck, take the old frame out and build a frame from scratch. I mean, I'm just absolutely blown away.
JD, what do you think about those wheels?
Yeah, I love them.
A 28-inch dually wheel on something that low, it just makes a huge, huge statement.
Yeah, the polish looks great on them. Engraved the Richline Motorsports in it. Perfect fit, too.
To finish it all off, you see everything's been color matched. Got rid of all the black plastic. We smoothed all that out, painted it body color. And, it just makes this truck look classy.
Yeah, it does. It's not too much chrome, not too much white. It just all flows together.
Let's check out under the hood.
Yeah, let's check it out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that looks good. I can't believe that you guys took all this out and got it back in and still made it look factory. Yeah, that's amazing.
Man, it was hard enough getting the motor up to the cowl, much less.
Yeah, I got the tubs in here, color match everything. I mean, it looks great.
I appreciate that. You think this is cool. I really got something to show you in the back.
Yeah, let's check it out. I'm excited to see it. Oh, yeah. God, that is crazy. You can see everything.
Right?
Got the gooseneck in here. That is amazing.
That isn't just something that just bolts into the bed. That is all made directly to the frame. It's artwork made into the framework itself.
Yeah, this should be able to pull anything that I need to pull.
Absolutely. Those huge airbags on there, just pick this big truck right off the ground with whatever weight you got on it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah.
You wanted some speakers in the back.
Yeah, I see that you guys added some speakers in here.
Show me the other part?
Yeah, Timmy hit it. Down here in the bed's cool. It's going to make, a lot of noise, but check this out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
There's just one more thing. People are just going to go, what?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Not only, the look of the truck is going to draw people, when they hear this sound, it's just going to project for a mile away.
Yeah, that's awesome how it's got the actuator to bring it right up. I mean, you guys knocked it out of the park. This is a dream come true right here. Hey, you know what? Maybe next SEMA, I can find something a little bit harder for you guys.
JD, you threw us a tall order, but as you can see,